Hell, boys and girls, live with the weather report for May 4th, 2021. I don't
May
know.
the 4th be with you.
Yeah, whatever. I'm 25,686 days old, not getting any younger. Life sucks. Goodbye, cruel world. Stream ending.
Oh, damn. Tell us how you're really feeling. Tell us.
Yeah, I know. I was feeling halfway good until you became and just rained on the parade.
Yeah, just rained on your parade? Oh, no, actually, I'm pretty happy today because I got this wonderful bit of physics from Cerberus and Will and Jungle Jargon, and I'm kind of thrilled. I don't know. So we should probably... What is this cute girl that was on there? What the hell was her deal? Did you talk to her at all?
Not really. Cute. I've seen her there before, like quite a while ago. Yeah. I think she's someone that like Praise has a crush on.
Oh, really? Okay, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, I listened to a little. I think a few things from her. I'm not sure if it was her. Or it was somebody else. That was shocking.
Was that Candace you're talking about?
Is that who that is? Cute girl.
I think so. Oh, is that what she goes like? Cute girl?
Yeah, they keep changing their names, and like Will the raccoon, he keeps changing his icon and his name, and you never know until he starts talking.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, I think it was Candace. I didn't go back. I only watched some of Cerberus's, and I didn't go way back. So yeah, it was probably Candace. She goes on there a lot.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway, so let's see, what do we got?
She likes to talk about relationships. You ever listen to her? Sometimes she goes on and on about, relationships, and yeah, she likes to, she gets pretty wild, some of the stuff she talks about.
Before you came in, Service, they were talking about apricot.com.
Yeah,
apricotpower.com.
I heard. I remember.
Oh,
that.
Yeah, and so apparently that's that cyanide thing or whatever, the vitamin, what is it, B17?
Well, the crazy people call it a vitamin. There's no evidence that it works like a vitamin.
Yeah, vitamin means basically vital amine, and yeah, if you can live without it, it's not a fucking vitamin.
Yeah, and the key component that they think cures the cancer, it metabolizes into cyanide and then a bunch of other like non-active compounds. So they're literally only eating cyanide.
Right, and that will cure cancer if you eat enough of it.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, gets rid of it. So there's apricot power. So let's see. I don't know. Oh, yeah, maybe I'll play it. Let's see.
Check out the apricotpower.com. I'm surprised that the powers that be haven't already tried to shut this place down by now.
Well, I think if there was any harm.
Okay, I think Jungle Jargon actually says something intelligent that if they start killing people, they will shut it down. But anyway, where exactly are the powers that be? Where do they reside? Are they like what state are they in?
They are they, and they are everywhere.
They are everywhere. I mean.
I actually got a moral question. Would it be wrong if I introduce Veckel to the miracle mineral whatever? That's basically just bleach.
Yeah. Well, no, maybe no. I don't know. we could talk about that backstage. You don't want to do that publicly. So anyway, maybe. Okay. So let's see, apricotpower.com, Cerberus enters. And then I don't know where you started. I think you, was there something at 7:35? I don't know why I bookmarked it.
Are you guys?
Well, let's just see.
I heard a lot of negative things about it, but you know,
But wow.
Yeah, that's what I say. You know,
happens
take
sometimes.
it with a grain of take it with a grain of salt. You know,
No.
yeah, I mean, everything in logic, everything has a consequence. You know,
Okay. So,
depending on which
so
position you take, you know, that's the position you live or die by, or whatever. You know.
So this is usually Dart question. Do you believe that facts necessitate reference to an ultimate being such as God? Yes or no? But they'll never answer yes or no.
Oh,
You're going on about Darth there. I don't know if there was much there.
yeah, I answer it like immediately after he says no one will answer it. Oh, I will. No. At least not Darth, at least not Darth's version of God.
Yeah. Oh, and then you guys talked about versions of God, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that came up a few times.
Was that later? I think that was later on, but that was actually kind of interesting. What you were saying about local atheism, you know, and then I think you define God as whatever people worship or believe, or worship, right?
Yeah, because the common characteristics between all the different definitions of what the word God means, the only similarities is everyone believes that it's a God, and they sincerely believe it
And worship it.
Yeah, you don't necessarily need worship it, because the panentheists don't worship the universe; they just call it a God and believe it's a God.
Well, I kind of do worship the universe, but I'm I'm not a panentheist, because they think like God is something separate from the universe, right?
That a pantheist thinks, not panentheist, a pantheist thinks the universe is a part of God, and then there's some part of God that's also outside of the universe.
The pantheist? I thought that was panentheism.
No, panentheism is just a universe equal God.
Oh. Well, what the hell? So Kafai has that backwards?
I think. Oh, I mean, I might have it backwards. I don't think I do.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of the opposite. I thought pantheist was the universe equals God, and then panentheist. They try to turn Spinoza into a panentheist because that would make God a separate thing, like a separate creator or overpowering thing on top of the universe, you know, that pervades all of the universe, but still has something outside of it, some part of him that's outside of it, or part of it that's outside. And they try to ram that down Spinoza's throat. And people have studied Spinoza forever and written a ton of books on him. And I think one of the key things about Spinoza is that wasn't he locked in his house or something at some point for his writings?
Spinoza, I think so.
Like he was on, he had to be very careful what he said. So I'm guessing that he paid a little bit of, like he carefully hid his ideas, right? Because I think he was a pantheist. You know, he just believed in naturalism in the universe. But oh my God, Kafai will argue with you about that one until the fucking cows come home.
Yeah. Pantheism is whenever I'm poking at an atheist that I think is annoying, I always point out that the difference between them and a pantheist or a panentheist is just semantics.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, like I worship complexity and naturalism in the universe, and I think, let's see, where does he say it up here? Okay, yeah, it's 7:46. I thought this was interesting.
Okay, you're giving the glory to physical matter.
Yep.
You understand?
That's me. So, well, to the physical, I wouldn't say physical matter, but that's an interesting difference between Christianity and a naturalist. Like a naturalist will basically give the glory to the world, to the universe, to your own existence. Whereas a Christian wants to shit on all that and say, oh no, there's God, and God is the only perfect thing, and he's outside of all that. And you suck, and you're just a lustful, penis on a stick or some fucking thing. And that's what I really hate about Christianity.
Well, yeah, that's why that's why I just point out that there's existence, right? And without existence, nothing can be.
Yeah.
So if God exists, then he's contingent on existence, because if he didn't exist, then obviously the atheist is right.
Yeah. So should I play that little part?
Oh, sure.
That's
Understand that
idolatry.
you understand that even if God made me, I'm still part of the universe, right?
What is a god to you, though? You said you believe in a god or multiple gods. So what is a god to you?
So there's a little bit of a story to this. I tried to figure out a good definition for the word, because there didn't seem to be a definition that fit everyone's version of what God meant. So the only characteristics I could find that all the different definitions that God held to was that people believed it was a god and sincerely held that belief.
Okay, that's how you put it.
Okay, so what is a god then?
Yeah, it just seems to be a title.
A title of what? But there has to be a specific definition. A god is separate from
if
an
it has
animal.
a title,
Yeah, that's why I gave you one.
So wait, what is a god though? What defines a thing to be a god? A person, a thing to be a god.
The thing that defines something to be a god is that people believe that it's a god and sincerely hold that belief.
No. You tell me what people believe it's a god.
Yeah,
I'm talking about
that's the definition.
What is it? No. What is that? What is a god though? I'm not talking about what people believe or perceive it to be a god. Anybody can perceive a tree.
That's kind of like a trick question, right? What is a god? It's what is a god? It's like, no, I don't really believe in a god. I'm just trying to give you a definition for what. Yeah,
well, I clear it up for him here in just a second. He actually, if I remember correctly, he ends up agreeing with me.
Okay. Now let's see.
Oh, you mean like what the title, like giving the title, what that entails?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just vertical honor. You're honoring something.
Okay. I think that's a very superficial definition of it, but okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's so many different definitions.
The whole physics part is coming up, Leo.
What?
It's you got to put your microphone down again, in front of your face. Okay.
What's going on?
The physics part is coming up. Okay.
Because they don't agree. The only option I have left
Praise
is
channel.
So you don't believe?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay, that debate was I think I might have to watch it again, because I need to figure out if Praise was at least trying to do as good of a job as I thought he was doing. Because I thought that Praise was at least making an attempt to make a point, and TJump was kind of being quite dismissive of someone. I mean, Praise can be wrong, and I mean, people can be wrong, but that doesn't mean you necessarily need to be dismissive of the arguments that they're making and not let them make them. And I felt like TJump was doing that to Praise a little bit. But I might have to watch that one again and to really get an idea of what I think occurred. Anyway, continue.
Okay.
Would you be opposed to the definition of God being something that possesses a deity, meaning that is a self-sufficient being, that is the cause of everything that exists?
As long as people worship it and believe that it is God, then yeah.
I see. So you don't oppose that. You don't oppose that definition.
Well, what's the definition? I don't think that's the definition of God, right? Just the word. But something that has those qualities could be a God.
Okay, gotcha. I think I might slightly agree with you, because in Scripture we see that.
Is that echo coming from the stream?
Yeah, they had an echo on and off.
Okay.
It's
God
echo.
used in various ways. You have God the Father, and He's the only, God, the creator of all things that exist. He's the only one that possesses these possesses what we call a deity. But then you have little gods, which are false gods, and then you have the other gods, which are people in power, judges, governors, and so on and so forth, I guess.
Someone's echoing really bad.
It's probably me. Let me get my mic.
I think someone else was echoing too
That's
when you were
not
talking. Oh no, it stopped. I guess we're probably
Okay.
there.
The fuck are we here?
All right, how about
Echo,
now?
click
Let me check,
on-
check. Okay.
Yeah, click on Cam and
So, what is Veckel's theology? What is he?
Calvinist.
I don't know. I was going to say I don't know if he's a Baptist or what, but I do know that he's Calvinist. I was going to say I thought that he was, but yeah, I trust your word. I thought that he was.
Okay, so,
Yeah,
so a Calvinist is basically somebody that thinks that God planned everything, or something like that. Is that
Calvinism? I mean, it's really hard to just give like a
Predestined to
statement
be
definition of
elect.
Calvinism because it includes a bunch of different aspects of theology, and there's some variety in Calvinism too. So I mean, it's really hard to say one statement. That's what Calvinism is.
Yeah, I think he holds to all the pillars though, if I remember, unless he's changed. It's been a while since I talked to Veckel.
okay? I thought they hated Calvinists on this channel. I don't know.
Yeah, Praise does.
Okay.
Yeah,
Smokey
Praise is
does
not
too,
a
right?
Calvinist at all. A Calvinist. I don't think Smokey is particularly impartial to Calvinism. I think he's pretty partial against it, I should say. I don't think he favors that at all.
See, the L in TULIP is limited atonement. Only the elect are covered by
Mhm.
Jesus' blood.
And then
Irresistible
there's a
grace.
whole
Total depravity.
I was just going to say really quickly, there's a whole host of discussions that could be had on the limited atonement and what that means. That's why I said it's
Oh, yeah.
when you want to talk about Calvinism, sometimes that's got to be unpacked a little bit.
So there's a lot to it.
Mhm.
Oh God, my
Yeah.
like button is wanting. We have 25 watching and 6 likes. What is wrong with you people?
Please, people, hit the like button. So
The likes help more than the views.
yeah, so
Well,
that
yeah.
Speed doesn't send his cat to Abu Dhabi.
Yep.
Every like equals one stay alive cat.
Yeah. So one of the first examples of campus censorship is when my old business partner of mine was running the high school newspaper, and they were supposed to do an article to bring people to the homecoming dance. And they had a picture of this cute puppy with a shotgun pointed at his head. We're going to shoot this puppy if you don't come to the dance. And they censored it. They banned him. That was the beginning of the powers that be banning things, right? That was like back in the 70s. So anyway, that's where it all started with him.
Mhm. I did want to say just really quickly, Speed. I think the reason that at least sometimes the likes that you get proportionate to the views that you get differ so greatly because I feel like a lot of creationists are always secretly lurking, watching these.
My guess
I mean,
is
we
that,
kind of know they are because they talk about things that are like buried an hour deep into these all the fucking time.
Yeah.
So I mean, we kind of know that they do.
yeah, my guess is about 20, anywhere from 10 to 20% are basically those lurkers. The rest of the people seem to actually watch us because
I know LPP lurks, Praise lurks, Standing lurks, Otangelo. Those are the 4 that I know for sure. And it maybe not all the time, but those are the 4 that I know will lurk around here.
The 4 sheepmen.
I don't know if Smokey Saint does. I doubt it.
No, I don't think. Oh, did anybody see Smokey Saint's takedown on Young Earth creationism?
I did not. Was it good? Was it actually good content or not?
I didn't watch it. I should have. He sent me an email, and
yeah, he sent me one too.
Yeah,
he said he was going to approach it biblically, like show how the Bible just does not support a young Earth creationist view. Which, if you want, and I haven't seen it, and I'm not necessarily trying to like say don't watch Smokey's video, but I do know that Inspiring Philosophy has, I think, a couple videos up on why the Bible itself does not support young Earth creationism. And the thing is, I really do like Inspiring Philosophy. I think he's a really good guy. I disagree with him on things. I think he's wrong on some things, but in terms of sort of like YouTube Christian apologists, I think, in my opinion, I would put Inspiring Philosophy as probably in the #1 spot. He's really good. He does his homework. He's got engaging videos. So, and like I said, I know he's done videos. So if anybody's interested in like biblical arguments against young Earth creationism, Inspiring Philosophy would be the place to check out.
And a lot of people say that. A lot of people say the same thing you just said about him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mike Jones, he's somebody I respect a lot.
So, his theory of mind stuff and consciousness is complete bullshit. But other than that,
I disagree with him. Like his cosmic consciousness argument, his digital physics argument, I think there's problems with him. But what I do want to say is I commend him for maybe pulling arguments from similar areas that traditional, natural theological arguments are from. But he formulated actually his own unique arguments out of that. And I got to commend him for that, because a lot of apologists out there on the internet, especially here on YouTube, do not do that. They run the same old oft-refuted arguments that everybody's seen time and again. IP doesn't. He's kind of formulating his own arguments, and that's, I don't think that I don't think the arguments work. I think that some of them might be valid, but I don't think any of them are sound. But at the same time, good on him for making his own arguments.
Okay, I think here's within a minute we segue into physics, I think, on this video. So
turn out the echo down.
Does SFB mod join?
The God that made you. Who is the God that made you, Cerberus?
God, I made you. Made me. I think I'm just a recombination of matter. I don't think there was a God that specifically made me.
Well, you said that the universe is God, so you're pantheist.
No, I said the universe is not God.
But there was a cause for your existence, right?
Cause it? I mean, there is a long chain of causes, kind of. The universe seems to be.
There's no kind of. Is there a cause?
No, there definitely is a kind of, right? Because the universe we know for a fact is probabilistic, and cause and effect is like an aggregate calculation, right? It doesn't
credit
and Gavin, I think, is sleeping, so he doesn't say anything. So
universe, you credit the universe for making you to be a human, ordering you.
Well, no, not really. I'm just part of the universe.
Yeah, so are we.
You're made of the same parts that are in the universe, but
the universe that's why I said I can't deny that it exists, because I'd be denying my own existence.
But the universe didn't make you, though.
Okay.
I mean, what made the universe?
It seems to be tenseless, so it doesn't seem like anything made it.
What the?
It has to have been made. It has to have been ordered too, because it's going.
That does not seem to be a logical necessity.
Yeah, it is, because it's going from order to disorder, and it can't make itself to begin with.
Order to disorder.
I mean, it wouldn't make itself to begin with if it was eternal and tenseless.
But it costs something. It costs energy to make the universe.
It costs energy. Why wouldn't it just have all the energy it needs to start with?
Well, because it's going from order to disorder, it's losing energy.
No.
It's not. The universe.
Energy just mixing together. It's not.
Yeah, okay. This shit keeps coming up on this stream that the universe is going to lose energy. And it's going to be all gone.
Yeah, it's just completely inaccurate. The universe will not lose energy. And the whole order to disorder, I mean, you see that a lot in pop sci, and I suppose for the laity it might be, while greatly oversimplistic, it might help to kind of understand what the second law states. But technically speaking, the second law doesn't speak on the nature of energy in terms of where it's going to go. It talks about the workability of energy. So the second law tells us that the ability of energy to be utilized to carry out some form of work will go down. Once energy has been used to do work, its ability after that to further do work is reduced. So at some point in the future, there will still be energy, the same amount of energy present. It just won't be able to do anything. That's what the second law of thermodynamics tells us.
Did you listen to this part last night, Leo, or this morning?
No, I didn't. I listened to maybe about a half an hour, 40 minutes of the actual debate. Gavin didn't last very long. I don't know if he ended up leaving or if TJump kicked him out, which Gavin doesn't contribute any to be.
But you guys have got,
and I don't say this about a lot of people. He's dumb. He is an unintelligent human being.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a different stream, Leo. This is on Praise.
Yeah, this is on Praise's channel. This is the review of that debate. Of the debate that he had with TJump, yeah.
Right, but this is way towards the end where
I'm
I
watching.
can see.
I'm actually
We're
more than
almost 8 hours in, yeah.
Jay is trying real hard to say something.
I'm more than halfway through this debate with TJump and Praise. He did kick Gavin out, which was glorious. I laughed like a schoolgirl.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
But yeah, because Gavin was being a cunt. Either way, this has got to be. Praise actually at one point is arguing for subjective morality. It doesn't even realize.
I think I remember catching that. I do think I remember catching that.
He's a fucking idiot.
Because what was it? I want to say it had something to do with like presentism as it relates to morality, and that Praise was saying something like the morality can change or something like that. And so there was
he was appealing to the idea that if in order for something to be in order for something to be objectively morally wrong, there has to be autonomous beings that can deliberate it. So he was literally arguing, and then Tom Jump was like, no, if something bad happens, regardless if there's anybody around to deliberate it or not, it's still wrong. It would be wrong regardless, right? It is wrong because it's wrong. So that's
Tom is a moral realist.
Yeah, but then Praise is just continually like not getting the fact that he's actually arguing against Tom Jump with subjective morality. Basically, the only way you have objective morality is by something else deliberating it, which makes it subjective by default.
Yes, it's subject to the deliberation. Yeah, that's.
And the faces, it's just I've got it pulled up on my TV, and just watching, like, I think I could actually do like a side to side comparison. And when Praise says something, I think I'm making the same faces that Tom Jump has. Just it looks like you're almost gonna have a stroke or something. Not quite. It's hilarious. Anyway, I'll shut the fuck. This is just amazingly bad from Praise. I mean, I thought the review I did from his shit on Sunday was bad. This is just as bad. This don't play in the pool of philosophy, Praise. If you're listening, stop playing in that pool.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people that,
and nobody wants you in the pool anymore.
Hey, real quick, Jay, do you still have the video saved where I get Praise and Jill to say that there isn't a God?
Yeah. I've got the review of it. I can also find it.
You don't have to do it right now, but when you get a chance, will you like link that to me?
Oh yeah, I'll find that for you. That is magnificent.
All right, should we see what else is going on with this video?
Okay, so I think we're at, let's say the real good part is at 8:01:16, and we're at 7:51. So about 9 minutes, something like that. We'll see.
Losing energy.
Yeah, it's spreading out. Yeah, it's dissipating.
Yes.
No, but that's a loss of energy.
It's using the
usable
energy.
Okay, where is this energy going to? Do you think?
It's dissipating.
Dissipating to where?
Dissipating.
When you have a cup of hot coffee, the cup of hot coffee will get cold. That's the same thing that's happening to you.
Yeah, the cup of hot coffee gets cold because the energy disappears out of the universe, right?
Yeah, that's what they say.
Apparently.
It's pretty rich.
It's not going anywhere. It's not being destroyed. It's just not usable anymore. It's not.
Yeah, exactly. It's not going anywhere because it's still in the universe. It's not losing energy.
But hold on. Okay, let's say I have a light. Okay, and I'm opening my light. The light's gonna go down. One day, it's still not gonna work, but it's still gonna be there. But you're not gonna be able to use it, so it's kind of useless. That's what JJ is saying here.
Is it? He's saying that the energy goes away.
JJ, do you agree with me?
Yeah, I agree. Go ahead, you're doing good.
Good. Then I could agree.
What does he say? If I had a light, one day the light is that what he was talking about?
Go down? Yeah. I don't.
I think he's just saying light. I think he was just trying to say the light is energy, and so like if he had a flashlight and turned it on, the light would go on forever and dissipate into the universe and become unused. Like that's like the charitable interpretation of this. That's the only way I could have understood what he was saying.
We'll show the kid charity just this once.
Agree with him. The energy doesn't actually go away. It becomes not usable by us. Right? Well, it's not usable by us.
But what do you mean? If
Except
it
that-
doesn't, no one can use it. Like if let's say like I lose the light in my lamp, it's still
Keyword
gonna be
there.
there. But hold on, it's still gonna be there, but it's not gonna work. It's not gonna be usable. But it's
Well, yeah.
still there.
The key word there is someone, and like I said, just, we won't be able to use it. Yeah.
Right. So,
It's not that it's not going to be
The-
in the universe anymore.
Of course, it's still gonna
but you
be there.
realize that
Where would it go?
the matter in the universe requires energy to exist.
It's
Plus-
the same thing as energy.
Right. But energy costs something. It can't make itself. It can't order itself either. It can't
Yeah.
bunch itself
And,
up.
and energy isn't created or destroyed. It's actually impossible to do it.
Well, it is possible.
Physically, yeah.
Oh, it's totally impossible. All you can do is phase shift it.
Yeah.
You can change it into
For
matter
us,
and energy and vice versa.
Yeah, it's impossible for us to just do away with because we didn't order the energy anyways. I mean, we didn't order
Because
the
we're
matter or
within
the
the
energy.
energy. We need energy to survive.
But we can't. But it is dissipating though.
We need energy to
Yeah,
survive.
that's yeah.
Hot take, guys. We need energy to
Survival-
survive.
Right, this,
Yeah.
we
I don't
mean
know
it's
what to
just
make of
moving
that.
around.
It's not usable anymore.
No, it's dissipating so that
I mean,
we can,
the universe, in a sense, is still using it. Right? It
no, but
exists.
eventually it won't be. It'll spread out so much that it won't be usable energy anymore.
Okay, cool. Still in the universe. So whatever.
Means
So
that-
one day you're gonna one day you're gonna go down and not have any more. So if
Okay.
it's
But-
eternal, like you seem to think, well, why hasn't it happened? Because the laws of physics tell us that it would happen.
Can you pause really quickly? That question
Okay.
comes up all the time. Well, if universe is eternal, why hasn't it wound down already? Why isn't it at thermodynamic equilibrium? And I say because we exist in the part that's not at thermodynamic equilibrium.
Right.
That's why the part of the universe that we exist in, the spatio-temporal part section, is closer to the beginning where there's still energy doing some stuff. We're not at the part where it's all at thermodynamic equilibrium yet. That part comes later, and we don't exist there. Sorry.
Okay. Moving on.
Like
The
that.
laws of physics tell us, given certain circumstances, it will happen. Right.
Oh,
It doesn't say it will happen. It doesn't
Well,
say
hold on.
the laws
You
of
know Neil
physics.
Tyson? I think it's his
Yeah,
name.
before-
He's a physicist, right?
Yeah,
you
before
know him,
we
right?
get to that,
Oh,
the laws of physics doesn't change. It says that this happens in a singularity.
But they understand that it's going to die a cold death. The universe is going to die a
Yeah.
cold death. That's understood.
Death is a metaphor, though. It's not like it's actually dying.
okay, hold on. Do you know Neil Tyson? He's a physicist, and he says he was asked about entropy in the universe, and he says the universe is losing energy. It's lining from 100% to 90%. It's going down. That's what he said.
I would be interested in that clip because I doubt he actually said that.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, okay. I just don't believe you.
I
That's
can,
why I asked.
yeah, I can show you the
Talking
clip
about?
after.
Oh, you can just link it. You don't have to show it in here. I don't
I'm
want
in the middle of the
to.
game.
Some Neil deGrasse Tyson. clip
Oh, Neil
or
deGrasse
something.
Tyson. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
so out of curiosity, Serb, do you get him to admit that God doesn't exist too?
No, he leaves before we get to that part.
Okay, damn.
The funny thing is,
Well,
Neil
I'm just saying,
deGrasse Tyson probably did say the universe is losing energy, but again, there's a difference between the way that science is communicated to a lay audience and
Right.
the way that it is understood actually as what it is. So as I explained earlier, there's a whole bunch of ways we could intuitively or simplistically speak about the second law of thermodynamics and about entropy. But technically speaking, the energy is not being lost. The ability for the energy to be converted into further work is going down. That is dropping.
Actually, I went and looked it up. Neil deGrasse Tyson, what Neil deGrasse Tyson is actually talking about is usable energy.
Okay.
So it's like he's actually portraying it accurately. It's just Will didn't. I think Will even corrects himself here after like 20 minutes or so. But I bring up
Because
that.
he probably went and watched it and was, oh shit.
So Orge, in Will's defense, he lives in a muskrat hut in somewhere in northern Canada, and he just found out about Neil. So, anyway.
Must have.
A muskrat hut.
Yeah, well, that's in northern Canada. That's all. That's all there is,
Just-
right?
Yeah,
Muskrat
that
hut.
that reminds me of a
Muskrat,
movie.
eh?
Hey.
That reminds me of this movie. What was that? It had Hugh Jackman in it and John Travolta. And one of the scenes in the movie, John Travolta and Hugh Jackman are driving this car, and John Travolta, this is some sloppy. He goes, "You ever heard of the magician Houdini? Like Has he ever heard of fucking Houdini?
Yeah.
No. Nobody's ever heard of Houdini,
No.
John.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. But quick question: there was a huge yak man in this movie.
There was a Hugh Jackman, yes.
Yeah, huge yak man.
Hugh
Jackman.
Jackman.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman.
Okay.
There's a huge yak man in this movie.
Yes.
Okay.
His favorite hobby was shaking hands with beef.
Wasn't that Swordfish?
Yeah, that's the one. Swordfish. God,
No, oh yeah, that was awesome. Okay, go on
Don't
ahead.
show it in here because Praise doesn't need to get like a copyright strike or something.
Too late. He's probably got 30 of them sitting in back there.
It seems like you're trying to
I had to throw
avoid
that
the
out there.
fact that the universe can't make itself, it can't order itself.
Yeah, because it doesn't need to.
I don't know what that means.
Well, not when it was made.
Foreskin real
by-
quick.
Yeah.
You guys want to know a fast way to get Praise's channel off YouTube? When
What's
you're on
that?
his channel, just share a fucking cooking channel. Just share
Really?
a cooking video from- that's what did in his last channel right there. It's a cooking
Oh
video.
no shit.
No
Oh,
shit.
wow.
It was literally
Hey,
it was backyard macaroni and cheese or something stupid like that.
So if
And
I
they
look,
took-
oh, sorry, go ahead.
They took him down for 2 months over that. Holy shit.
3
Oh
months.
my god. Wow.
So if I go in there low key with my little doc image, being like a Martha Stewart clip,
yeah.
that will just ruin him.
I go to
pop in there
Alabama-
and throw on some Rachel Ray.
I can tell you it was Alizan's Kitchen. I think that's how it's pronounced. Alizan's Kitchen, and it was like outdoor macaroni, like ultimate macaroni and cheese video. That's what fucked that channel for 3 months.
I was
Did he
gonna
play the whole thing?
And that was Joel, wasn't it? That
Yeah,
did that?
yeah, because Joel, well, yeah, and then it was like, well, I think that was Joel's fault. I'm like, you still have the ability if unless he gave Joel, control of the StreamYard. The only way that video is going to play is unless he allows
Put it up there. Yeah.
Yeah, he has to put it up. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was funny. Or somebody else did. Like if Praise wasn't there, then maybe Gavin or somebody else put it up. Either way. But yeah, that's what did in his channel was a cooking. That's what I said. That's the kryptonite to Praise's channels now. Is a cooking channel.
Well, that's it. My picture is going to be a bowl of mac and cheese from now on when I go in there.
Oh,
That's good. Okay, we're coming up.
Something that's not contingent, yeah.
Why would it need to be made if it's eternal and tenseless?
It cannot be
Because it cannot order itself. Energy cannot bunch itself up.
Okay, well, why would you think it's
Mean.
punched up? Why would you just not assume that it was a singularity?
Because it is in a state,
Mannington's-
you know what, a state of low entropy.
Well,
I just want to clarify. Did he say energy can't bunch itself up? Were those his words?
I think so.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've never heard anybody put those words together.
Well,
dealing
it's
with
pretty
it.
it's pretty technical, Scott. It's
Okay, yeah, it's
not,
way out of my league.
yeah, it's not for us laymen to figure out bunched up energy. Okay.
It's in a state where the energy is bunched
Lying
up and it's
down.
going.
He's
it's
doubling
going
down.
You're assuming that it had to get to that point, right? It could have just been at that
Dude,
point.
hold on. If something is lining down, you mean it started at some point, correct? Had a right?
Yeah, expanded,
Correct?
Did he say if something is lying down?
winding
Winding
down.
winding down,
Oh,
which is
okay,
not
winding.
the right way to put it.
Okay. I think he said lay down at some point, and I thought maybe he said it again, but anyway.
Started.
Correct?
Expansion started. Yeah, we know that.
Hold on. So if I start counting from 5 to 10, I mean I start counting at 1, correct?
Well, I guess it depends. I mean, you could start at 0.
Yeah, but I started at 5, so I mean that something
Wait,
happened.
why is
before
he?
that. It's like if
Why
I
is he
say
equivocating a
B,
countdown
where's
to
before
winding
B,
down?
A, right? So if the
I have
universe
no
has
idea.
25% of
Ugh,
visible
that's
energy,
bad.
and one day it had 100%.
What the fuck?
Oh,
You know that it's sliding down.
Well, I think the argument he was trying to make is, the universe winding down starts at 5, and because there's a 4, 3, 2, and a 1, therefore God.
Huh. Interesting. Gotta love their non sequiturs.
That's weird because it's like saying, okay, so when you turn off your ceiling fan winds up and now it's spinning constantly, then you turn it off and it starts winding down.
What
Right, so
the
it starts
hell
slow.
just
And it starts going down and you've got to wait 5, 4, but then you can stick your hand up and catch it and it stops. But anyway, sorry.
Hold on. Did something just happen to the volume?
No,
Not that we can
No.
tell.
What
it's
the
not
hell
playing,
just-
so I can't hear anything.
No,
Are you having trouble hearing us?
no, my cat just walked on my keyboard, and all of a sudden the volume got so fucking loud it almost shattered my head.
Fucking
Wow.
pussies.
What the
Gotcha.
hell? Goddamn pussy. Okay.
My
Okay.
pussy's gone crazy.
We know that it's lining down because if we observe other planets, they're cooling off, all that type of stuff. So it's lining down.
Okay, I think I understand the clip you were talking about before. What the word you missed was usable energy. He's saying the usable energy is reducing.
Yeah, and energy cannot be created, correct? So if there's usable energy and it's not usable anymore, it's never going to be usable again.
Yeah, but it's not destroyed.
Yeah, but it's not usable, so who cares?
But we didn't say destroy.
You did.
Oh yeah, no, I'm
We
just pointing out.
can't.
I'm just pointing out
can't make- yeah.
I'm just pointing out the fundamental of what the universe is essentially immortal. Right? It's eternal in both directions. It can
No,
change.
if it's-
It doesn't.
If
It doesn't
it's
go
not
away.
going to have any, if it's not going to have any usable energy, it's not eternal in the state that it is right now.
Because otherwise the energy would
Oh yeah,
always
that's
be
the
at
thing. It's not
100%.
eternal in the state that it is
Hold
right
on.
now.
Hold on. Otherwise the energy would always be at 100%, dude.
You seem to be
Yeah,
following the
that
conversation.
seemed to be what it was when it was a singularity, 100%.
Dude,
You
hold
don't
on.
seem
Okay,
to be
so,
following the conversation.
yeah, so if it's
the
lining
uni-
down,
Yeah. No, now you're
And it-
talking about the singularity. So it had a beginning. Beginning.
No, well, that's where the expansion had a beginning.
I don't think you know what to believe.
Where did the singularity come from?
It wouldn't have come from anywhere.
okay, so
Wait, hold on.
It's
Pause.
singularly-
Pause
Yeah.
not. What?
Okay.
Why do people ask where did the singularity come from? Singularities
Yeah.
are not physical objects at all. They don't exist somewhere in space time. They result. They're mathematical results. Usually, it happens, especially in general relativity, when a function becomes non-differentiable along some asymptote, or where the limit of a function becomes undefined. Generally, as it approaches 0 or infinity, or something like that.
Yeah,
So
you
when they
can't
ask, well,
even-
where did the singularity come from? There wasn't a thing there to come from anywhere because it's not a thing that's there. That's not what a singularity is.
yeah, you can't even think of it as being in something.
So there's no
Because-
there-ness there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It-
Like Aaron Raw always says, there has to be a there. With the singularity, there isn't. There is no there.
Yeah.
It's just a mathematical thing.
yeah. Okay. Where are we? 7:59.
This question. So if the sorry, because I speak French. If the singularity is eternal, okay, why did it decide to happen 14 billion years ago and not 20,000 billion years ago?
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh, you don't know the answer to that, right?
Oh, I don't think anyone does.
Right,
What
so
the fuck was that?
You don't know this thing that no one knows. Therefore, God. That's what it is.
Oh my god.
I love that. Otangelo's been pulling that a lot lately. Give me what you think it could be. I don't know, but what you're giving me doesn't seem very convincing either.
No.
I explained that to him in my last exchange on this channel, I believe, a couple weeks ago or something. And I said, just because there isn't an explanation doesn't mean that you get to choose whatever explanation you want to just use, since we don't have an otherwise verified one. That's not how
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah. So in about, let's see, 1 minute and 16 seconds, Will comes up with the knockdown argument of the century.
Oh boy.
You said Will does?
I'm gonna
Yeah. Yeah.
then I'm gonna refrain from having to take a number 2
Yeah.
because I'm pretty sure it'll be so bad that I will have to go take a number 2.
Yep.
Might have to even take
Yep.
a number 3.
Probably shit yourself.
You
Okay.
stay out
Let's
of my
just give it
personal affairs,
everything
Leo.
I'm giving it to you. It's eternal, right? The singularity is eternal, okay? I'm just giving it
What?
to you. It keeps booming over and over. One day it starts booming, another day
What?
it doesn't boom, okay? Let's say
Wait, what?
the universe keeps
Do you want to clear that one? It's booming over and over.
I don't even know what he means. This is the problem. I don't know what they mean by what they're saying, because, I mean, this is just terminology that no physicist is going to use, even when they're trying to explain it to the laity. Like booming, I'd singularity existing eternally. I don't know where to go with these statements, because they have no. I don't know what they mean.
Yeah.
Well, luckily for you, I speak fluent Riri. There's only a small issue here because he speaks French Riri.
Yeah.
Dialect. So he's either talking about a cyclic universe, or he's just saying It was a singularity, then it expanded with a boom, and then there was no more booms after that.
Yeah. There's a boom.
God farts. God farts.
Resetting itself. So, it's 14 billion years ago, it's alive. Well, here's a problem with that. It's one day you keep going to use this energy, and this energy is not going to be usable. So you're going to start with 10 billion energy, and you're going to go to 5 billion, next universe 4 billion, next universe 3, and one day you're going to have 0. So you're not going to be able to cause a blast. You start the Big Bang. That's the problem.
He's talking about the cyclic universe, basically. Yeah, and that sort of thing. Okay, so here we go. Where are we here? Okay.
Because, dude, if the universe is up and we know that it's lining down, I mean, it has an amount of energy. It's not infinite, right? So,
I mean, if you're talking about a cyclic universe, the theory of the
listening?
Yeah,
it
seems that you have some issues with at least what we think a cyclic universe would be like.
No, cyclic universe has been debunked many times by many scientists.
No, it hasn't. It has been proven to be exactly the case.
A cyclic universe is like a bouncing ball. You got to understand that eventually it's going to stop bouncing.
Also, you have to understand.
Wow. Just, that's worth. Okay, here we go now. Now, here's the part where Will.
I tell you, Jungle Jargon's mind's got more up and downs than a carousel.
Okay. Here's Will's knockdown argument against cyclic universe.
No energy dissipates out of the universe.
You have to understand that there's a radiation background that is caused by the Big Bang. So if the Big Bang keeps happening over and over again, well, we know that from the Big Bang there's radiation background. So if 4,000 Big Bang, if 4,000 Big Bang happen throughout the whole world, okay, well, there would be too much radiation for us to live, and also you have to explain
what.
Okay, so he says the background radiation would accumulate from one universe, from one cycle to the next.
This kid's mind.
I know that was the one I just loved.
When he gets his first piece of ass, everything that he's been doing on the on YouTube will just go away.
Yeah, but I'm afraid we're gonna have to wait for about 25 years for that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while. It's gonna be a while on that one.
Are you making a prediction for future incel of America?
I am. Yeah.
He literally thinks the background radiation is like outside the universe, and
I don't know.
It will build up and eventually microwave us if we're.
Yeah, I just thought that was precious. I think that's all we need to know about this fucking kid. I don't know. Does it go on from here? Because I think I stopped right there because that's where I had to go have a cigarette. And I had taken.
Let's see what happens. Let's see where the train takes us.
Okay, let's see.
Wait, the Big Bang is internal to the universe. You get that right?
But you don't understand entropy.
Radiation is internal to the universe.
No, it's not eternal. It was caused by the Big Bang.
No, internal. It's inside.
Yeah, exactly. So if your theory is that the singularity, everything from this universe keep getting together and rebooting again, well, you have too much. Radiation, so that wouldn't be possible. There would be
the radiation doesn't survive in the form that it is. In a cyclic universe, all the energy gets pushed back together into a singularity, and entropy goes.
That's the problem. That's the problem. Okay, let's say you start with 1 pound of energy. I'm just giving a hypothetical number, and after that you use, let's say, 20 pounds of this energy, right? Well, you have a problem if you keep using 20 over and over. One day you're not going to have any more, so an energy cannot be created.
Well, wait a minute. Now, are you not going to have any more, or is it going to build up? Which is it? I mean,
maybe
what the fuck?
Maybe he doesn't think radiation is energy.
Out of curiosity, sir, what was the point of this conversation? What was? I mean, I know what your point is. Your point is to just see if you can possibly aggravate him or figure out if he actually knows what the fuck he's talking about. But what is he trying to convince you of?
He's trying to. Well, I mean, the general thrust of everything he says in our conversation is
God.
But this, therefore, God. It's all. Yeah, that's all it is.
Oh, okay. So
I'm in there like normal. I'm honestly just trying to keep the conversation going so they can say more and more dumb things.
Wait, you're saying that it's just post hoc ergo propter hoc argument every time. Because of this, therefore this.
Yeah.
Because of something, therefore God.
We need to get a Frank Sinatra dub. It's got to be God or something, you know. It's got to, yeah.
The one that I like is the one that Apologia has for the Bible tells me so.
Yeah, I love that. I've
Dude,
been trying to find it. I've been trying to find an equivalent clip of that because that is so handy. I would like that.
Dude, him and Andrew Loke are still going at it. Andrew Loke is not letting him go on this evidence for the resurrection thing.
Who's that?
Andrew Loke. It's.
Okay.
I'm not gonna get into it right now. We can talk about it later.
Okay.
So, quick question. I had to do something else, so this is going to go back a little bit. They were talking about usable and unusable energy earlier, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I believe so. Yeah.
So that's not something I ran into a lot when I was in college taking my physics classes. And when I looked it up real quick, that seems to be referring to like heat loss and stuff like that. What is unusable energy in terms of the universe? Can you have unusable energy at that point? Or is that like only a isolated system conversation?
Yeah,
If it expanded?
The whole energy thing really depends on what kind of system you're dealing with and whether there are any other systems around.
Right.
So since everything that we know thus far about our physical reality tells us that there's no such thing as something like an outside or a beyond it, that it is an isolated system. And Dessel Drace is correct. Andrew Loke is a bitch. Anyway, so when we talk about energy, it's really in what it's doing in some system is going to depend on what kind of system we're talking about. But with the universe, I would presume unusable energy would be just a universe at thermodynamic equilibrium. So it would just be space-time at vacuum.
Yeah, right. And I think that's part of the issue here is you can't really define unusable energy at this scale because classic unusable energy, like again, heat loss from friction, is still energy that exists within the overall system. Heat in the atmosphere is still energy in the atmosphere. So how can you relate that concept to this like universe randomly dying when the energy isn't being unusable? It's just not usable in the context of the story you just told. They're different sentences.
Yeah.
Right? Or am I misconstruing this?
No, that seems right to me. I don't know if anybody else has anything else to add to that.
Nope. Yeah. All good.
Well, yeah, because people talk physics all the time, you know, and it's complicated shit. Second law of thermodynamics is you learn it in high school as a simple equation, but people get PhDs in this exact individual thing for a reason, you know?
Yeah, and the thing is, and that's what I said earlier, is that physics, when you really want to understand what it is, it's a little bit more technical than a lot of the sound bites and talking points we've heard from the pop scientists and the pop sci articles and magazines and everything like that. And I think a lot of people just gloss over all of the complexities and the nuances and only talk about it from that very superficial, very pop sci style understanding of a subject rather than understanding anything beyond that.
Yeah, I think one of the problems with thermodynamics is that it was primarily invented, or they came up with it, to deal with a basically steam inside of a piston. Okay, they were dealing with steam engines, and then the whole entropy concept is if you have more states, if you have a massive number of states, then it is going to dissipate into its probability that it's going to dissipate. Basically, it's going to go to those other states. If you open the system up, right? If the piston expands, it's going to lose energy and do work at some point. But that's about all I know about it, because
that's exactly the point. That's exactly the point, Speed. You're still talking about the piston. The energy isn't lost in some grand scheme. The energy is lost in relation to the piston.
To the piston, Yeah, and it's based on entropy is based on probability, as near as I can tell, and that's
statistical mechanics.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway,
and there's a reason they call it statistical mechanics.
Yeah. See, do you know where this thing goes next?
No,
I can't remember. I think we could go to the laws of logics.
Oh, they bring that up too.
Oh, that's a later conversation after they're done talking about physics, and they deal with that. But let's go to the laws of logic. So, okay, I think you said at 8:10 is where you asked the question, Cerberus.
He's out of here. He had his wife needed some help with something.
What?
Because you're never looking at the private chat. He said he was out of here.
Private chat. Is that under that? Okay, is there a button for that private chat? Oh,
are you kidding me?
I found it. I found the button. Yeah, I am.
Really?
This is better than coffee.
Like, okay, how about that?
Dude, stop acting like you're a moron. You don't have a clue what you're talking
How many laws of logic do you guys think there are currently?
There's one
as many as you want to make, as many as you invent.
So we got someone that says one. Anyone else?
As many as you want to make up, because you're making up your laws of logic.
Well, he's deceiving himself to believe that.
Does anyone actually know? Come on, someone's got to at least say three.
There's one universal laws of logic, dude.
What universal laws?
Yeah, that everyone uses, everyone apply.
I know French is like your, I guess, first language, but you understand that you said one.
I said one
You know
universal.
how many truths? You know how many truths there are? You want to know how many?
Anyway, I think Cerberus's point was that normally people would have come up with three, but these guys didn't seem to have a clue what they were talking about, and then they went on to talk about God and the law. God is the source of logic and all that bullshit. But anyway, I think we're done with these guys for the day. What do you think?
That was interesting. Wow.
Yeah, it's all interesting. That was an interesting little physics piece from the Brain Trust on Praise's channel.
You realize how little Will knows.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know how old that kid is. I'm not sure. I thought I heard 16.
He's got to be. Yeah, I was gonna say he's got to be somewhere around 16 or 17.
16 going on 56. As far as his politics goes and all that stuff. Yeah. Anyway, so Praise's channel is back. So I don't know. I wonder if he's going to use his other channel yet or what he's going to do. I don't know. I'll like to keep an eye on Praise because there's always people always like Jay and all you guys go in there and troll them. You end up with some amazing results. I mean, you go and drop a stone into that pool and there are ripples that are just a lot of fun to look at. So anyway, I don't got much else.
Sal lost his mom.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was
a day ago. Yeah, that sucks.
Yep. He did a nice little video on her. It seemed like a wonderful woman, long life, wonderful woman. So yeah,
is Sal Filipino?
Well.
Is he Southeast Asian?
I think his mom is Korean. I think they said.
Okay.
Was she
Because
Korean?
he looks like he could be. I don't know. He looks like he could be almost maybe Southeast. I'd be curious what his ethnicity is.
Yeah, there's an interesting.
I could see a little bit of Korean, maybe Vietnamese.
I think his mother's Philippine. I believe so. And his father might be Italian, right? Is that
something like that? But it
definitely,
southeastern.
But they have an interesting romantic story behind his father and his mother meeting and stuff. It was that I'd heard pieces of it, and I think he mentioned pieces on that tribute. But Sal is going to be in bad shape for a while, and I'm going to leave him alone until he gets his boots back on. But yeah, it's going to affect him heavily because he was very invested. So anyway, it's a tough thing.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
It is.
Yes.
How many people we got in here right now? 6, and nobody's fucking saying anything. Bunch of bitch ass culeros.
No.
31
well,
watching.
7 people. So who here do you not consider a person?
3, 6, 7.
Top Dog left too, didn't? No, Top Dog's here.
No, Top Dog. We lost Cerberus.
Top Dog's on the top.
Oh, and we lost Jason Torn. God damn it.
Yeah, he's just been popping in and disappearing.
Yeah, Jason.
It looked like he was on his phone, so he's probably having issues because StreamYard sucks ass, and it sucks ass even more on phones.
What's bad StreamYard? He's StreamYard.
So, Speed, to learn how to BS on MacBooks?
Someday I'm going to learn.
Well, because I'm going to be meeting host Jeff from the Atheist Roundtable.
Yeah.
Because
case in point.
So I'm going to have him help me just figure out some stuff and make sure I've got some stuff set up right. And especially as it concerns getting audio stuff set up to like do open.
You're demonstrating the point, Leo. You're botting. Really
yeah,
bad.
Because we're on StreamYard.
Leo bot.
Buck. Orge. Orge. Calling all Orge.
He might have stepped away.
I want to know about basalt columns.
Jay just left. I was going to ask him if he had heard that Joel. I know he's a fan of Joel's. I was going to ask him if he knew that Joel's a Apache pilot now.
Yeah, and a rocket launcher specialist and a marksman, and also Joel has dealt with hundreds of scientists, and he's like Elon Musk's right hand man, and none of those people are atheists. He hasn't talked to a single atheist scientist. There are no atheist scientists anywhere.
Yep.
And I don't know what circle he runs in.
All of science has been created by creationists.
Yep.
That's what. Yeah.
Bacon, I think, was the one that invented science or something.
Yes.
Like that. Francis Bacon or something. Yeah, that's what he said.
That's debatable. A lot of the scientific method goes back to the 600s BCE, or not BCE, CE. Especially to the Muslim metaphysicians and scholars that existed at the time. A lot of the areas of the scientific method developed.
Yes.
No one person developed science. Science was developed over thousands of years by Greeks, Romans, Jews, Muslims, Europeans, Africans. No one religion, no one culture, no one ethnicity has a claim to science. It was developed collectively over a very much extended period of time by a variety of different humans.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the point. Joel was trying to say that, and that was the exact point that Peter was had a discussion with him, and that's exactly what Peter was trying to get that point across. But Joel was having none of it. He was freaking out.
God, somebody needs to let me know when Joel is around in these rooms so that I can join, because he's so fucking afraid of me. Apparently. Yeah.
So Joel was saying that. So Christians invented all of science and mathematics and everything, and somebody was asking him to write the numbers down, and who invented those numbers? They were trying to
Arabic numerals.
Yep. and Joel did not get it. He didn't seem to understand what they were talking about at all. He's completely rewritten the history, and he's always on Wikipedia getting his ass tossed off because he's trying to stick this Christian bullshit into
Einstein and science and
So Leo, I'll be glad to let you know when I find it. Do you want? I'll just send you an email if you find it. I mean, you check your email.
Find what?
I said I'll be glad to let you know. I'll send you an email if I find one. I don't know how quick you'll get it, but.
Yeah, for sure.
When Joel's around,
So is Orge a volcanic specialist? A volcano specialist?
I don't know. Ask Orge.
Orge, are you a volcano specialist? I've been watching that.
I'm kind of busy. I can't interact for a little bit. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Good enough. He's working. He's multitasking. He's cracking rocks with his hammer, as we see. A resident geologist. Anyway, I've been watching that volcano, and it's really interesting to watch that volcano and then go over to Nick Zentner and watch volcanic flows that are, between 3 and 65 million years old. It's very, very neat. 1,000 times the scientific method is not critical. Yeah.
One of Joel's biggest fans is inside chat there, Lena.
Yep, she loves Joel.
Yeah, she said that you would be blocked immediately Leo, which is I'm sure is true.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
unfortunately,
if it
you
was on
probably
like
wouldn't get
Praise's
a chance.
channel or something.
Yeah. Well, the last time it was on Tangelo's. So on Tangelo's, not a big fan of yours either. So you probably wouldn't have got far there anyway. So
I don't think Otangelo would block me from his channel.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, would he let you on though and have a conversation with Joel? I don't know if he would or not. Maybe.
I think he would.
Maybe. Yeah. He wasn't too happy. He was pretty upset with Joel during that because Joel was being a real ass at that stream. It was really bad. So, here it is.
Joel on science.
Well,
good evening.
Yes, hello to a long time.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Hey, yeah, I heard you guys talk about science. I wanted to join in. Yeah, no, the guy that found.
I thought that was kind of cute. If you say science 3 times, Joel will join in.
Yeah.
Science.
This whole thing is gold. Really, it's funny.
Laws of thermodynamics, Lord Kelvin. He said that if you study science enough, man, it will force you to believe in God. How you guys doing?
Well,
no,
he's wrong there.
The funny thing is when it comes to the physical sciences, especially like physics and chemistry and astrophysics and theoretical physics and all that fun stuff, a majority of, I shouldn't say a majority, but the percentage of scientists in those fields that are either atheists or naturalists is actually measurably greater than it is in other scientific fields like biology and biochemistry and things like that, and engineering and what have you.
Okay, let's see what Joel says here.
Oh,
You'd be wrong.
He invented the stuff. How's he wrong?
He invented science?
He invented the laws of thermodynamics, or at least he established them. He put them together.
So
Wait, who did he say did that? Can you back it up?
Who was that?
I didn't hear who he said did it, because he probably got the wrong name.
Yes, hello to a long time.
Thanks for having me, man. No, the guy that founded the laws of thermodynamics, Lord Kelvin, he said that if you study science.
Yeah, Lord Kelvin.
I don't know.
Yeah, that didn't seem right to me either. I'm not sure what he's talking about. Thought it was the steam engine people and I don't know. Anyway, okay, Chad, play.
He formulated the first and second laws of thermodynamics, but I know I don't know if there would really be one founder of thermodynamics like most things there really wasn't one founder of. But I know Ludwig Boltzmann contributed significantly to the field of thermodynamics. Max Planck also made contributions to thermodynamics as well.
Is this Otangelo's channel or somebody else's?
Otangelo's.
Okay.
Right here.
We had a question in the side chat.
Yep, God talk.
Science enough, man, it will force you to believe in God. How you guys doing?
He's wrong.
Well, he's wrong there.
Yeah,
He's wrong.
He invented the stuff. How's he wrong?
I feel like Joel's drunk here.
He invented
honestly.
science?
He invented the laws of thermodynamics, or at least he established them. He put them together.
So very specific, but a very awesome and amazing. But
yeah, it sounds like an argument of there are laws, therefore God.
Yeah,
it exists.
So by the way, I am driving.
Yeah.
So
also,
Joe,
please don't die.
Joe, I'm really curious now. What evidence did he have for a God?
By the fact that there is limitation with the temperatures, that if you have basically what
can we pause
saying,
really quickly? I wanted to address Cafe in the chat. So the first thing, of course, there's more theists within the fields of philosophy of religion, because in most areas concerning theology, you tend to find a majority of people, especially that believe in particularly that theology, studying it even at the academic level. I don't know why you're bringing up Sean Carroll, because Sean Carroll has on numerous occasions admitted he knows nothing of theology and doesn't ever talk about it. So that's not really relevant to the point that I was making, which was that Joel was saying that the deeper that you study the physical sciences, the more you'll become likely to become a theist. Well, obviously that's wrong, because when we talk about the hardest sciences out there, physics, chemistry, and even sub-disciplines of that, astrophysics, cosmology, theoretical physics, all that stuff, the percentage of scientists in those fields who are likely to be atheist or naturalist is measurably higher than it is for all the other forms of the natural sciences. So this seems to indicate that what Joel said was wrong, that the deeper you delve into the realm of the natural or the physical sciences, the more likely you are to become a theist. That seems to be directly contradicted by what we know. So I don't think you were here when the initial point was made. Either that or it went clear over your head.
Yeah, and he keeps insisting that all scientists are Christians, but then when you look at the polls, that doesn't seem to support that idea, not even a little tiny bit. So, anyway.
Yeah, well, Sean Carroll, who Cafe mentioned, is a renowned theoretical physicist, a scientist who's not just an atheist, but a naturalist.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I'm not sure. Joel out at 58.36. I don't know if we can endure 9 minutes of this, but we could.
I think it'll be fun.
If you got anything to do like with heat or energy or any kind of dispersion, there has to be a beginning to all of that. So it goes well beyond just the Big Bang. By the way, all the Big Bang stuff is all Christian creationism as well. So everything that we talk about, all of science, is only from creationists exclusively. So anything that it is all of it. So anything atheists can say is they have to take they can take all atheists have to take creationist science and beat us over the head with it, literally.
Pause not.
All of it.
What? Pause not.
What did you say? What did you say?
Pause not. It's a quote from a movie. You probably haven't seen Borat. Anyway,
I have seen Borat, but that ain't gonna work.
Georges Lemaitre, while he was a Jesuit priest and a Catholic, was not a creationist. And while he did formalize the hot Big Bang model, he's not the only one that really contributed to that model. Edwin Hubble also contributed, and I can never remember the names of the two guys who discovered the CMB. I can never fucking remember their names, but them as well.
Which is why I brought up Lemaitre, because usually evangelical Christians will not consider Catholics to be Christians.
Exactly.
Just a side note.
And another thing, what led most of the theists like Isaac Newton and many others to study science was because they wanted to know God through the nature of reality and how it was structured, something that a lot of creationists don't do. They just deny science and deny the way reality works for thousands-year-old scriptures. A lot of the most intellectual scientist Christians didn't think that way, so they wouldn't have been creationists. Creationism wasn't really a thing like we see it today until I believe like the late 1800s or the early 1900s, somewhere in there.
Nope, not until the 1960s, actually.
Well, I know that there were stuff before that because there were protests in the 1910s and 1920s in the United States against evolution being taught in schools.
Yes, but so the creationism we see now, as proposed by Ken Ham, Hovind, people like that, that arose somewhere in the 60s.
Yeah,
you can chat with R.J. Downer about that. He has a whole library. Yes, because
he does an incredible amount of history on that stuff, and he really he was watching it like 30 years ago, I think. So
yeah, all of his information, by the way, you can access on TIP Trouble in Paradise, which is his blog where all of his research is available. I know for a fact that Apologia uses that a lot when making his videos.
Yep. Okay. Let's see what Joel has to say.
Joel.
Except when it's Muslim science or secular science or pagan science.
Okay, nope,
or
there's none. All fields of science have been started exclusively by creationists.
Can I ask if you have any evidence for that?
Yes,
Can I ask
we have all
evidence?
evidence. Every single field of science was started by Christians.
I know you're driving, so you can't present it right now, but when you actually get the chance to, please
I
present
can talk about it. Yeah.
Hold on,
That's
Joel.
what we do for a living.
Joel,
Yeah, what are
Joel,
you talking about?
let me
It's what he does for a living. You hear that?
let me ask a
Please,
question.
yeah, please. No, yeah, I've been trying to answer all these questions. So one at a
I
time.
have one question.
Shoot.
You're driving, right?
Getting some Taco Bell.
If you look
Here it is.
on your dashboard and look how fast you're going, how is that displayed to you? How fast you're going?
Excitation of photons behind LEDs display. I mean, what's your point?
No. So the exact measurement, how fast you're going, how is that displayed?
By how's it displayed again? Is by excitation of photons in a light emitting diode.
Make it simpler. Is it in text or is it in numbers?
Both.
Okay. What kind of numbers are you using?
The ones that we use for humanity, for human language.
Arabic, right? Like in Muslim?
No.
Yes.
You're not using Arabic numerals?
You're using Arabic numerals, trust me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Arabic numerals.
What's that got to do with Arabic?
They are.
Oh my God! Isn't that
It's like
amazing
Roman numeral. He doesn't go.
Yeah.
Oh, but
just shows you how dumb he actually is.
Yeah.
He has no clue what Arabic numerals are. Those are Christian numerals.
Yeah, and like a trained parrot, he talks about photons and LEDs and.
One of the teachers people in third grade. When I was in third grade, I remember the teacher talking about Arabic numerals versus Roman numerals.
Yeah.
Well,
did they also tell you why most stars have Arabic names? Because of the Christians who discovered them, I think. Oh wait.
Well, to be charitable here, I think Joel probably skipped from preschool all the way into being a scientist, and he skipped the whole education part. So that's why he didn't know any of that. Oh my God, is that your laugh track?
Even Darth has to laugh, right?
Yeah. Oh my God, that is a.
Shut now.
That's almost as bad as a smoky cackle. Okay, moving on.
Arabic numerals, by definition.
Arabic numerals. Those are the things the Muslims came up with that you thought.
Would it make it easier for me if it was in Roman numerals? What's the extra point?
Yes, because we don't use Roman numerals. The point is
How
you're
is
using
that
something
relevant?
Arabic. Because you're using something Arabic.
And another thing.
Got it from somewhere else. I understand.
Joel, another thing. This might be a problem because you're not wearing headphones, so you can't hear us when we're talking.
Why would you ask me something that's stupid?
Hold on.
What's the point?
I'll ask you another stupid thing. So Otangelo has a backdrop here on StreamYard, which is stars. Can you explain to me why most stars have Arabic names? Because Muslims discovered them?
Because theists are the only ones that can do science?
You just said there was no such thing as Muslim and Islam creationists.
You have to calm down, dude. You're getting emotional. You need to chill.
Here, step in the right direction. We've went
don't do anything for science.
I think
I'll
pray you are pretty.
Muslims are theists. Stand by. Yeah, I'm gonna go put on a brief hold, guys. I'm gonna give you some Taco Bell. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So there's a.
You know, he did a stream right after this.
No, it's worse. It's worse, and this is why I blew up on Otangelo's channel, because he announced that he was going to go live while Otangelo was live. So basically, telling everyone who was watching, come over to my channel and watch me instead.
Yeah, but he got Taco Bell on that stream too, like about a half an hour later. So he got Taco Bell twice. He
probably
you know what happened?
There. What happened? He's so stupid. He got to the drive-thru. If you listen to it, he forgot his wallet, and he had to go all the way home to get his wallet to come back. I think that's what happened.
Oh, okay. So
he actually says it. Yep.
there's a simple, and I think atheists assume this, even though they don't think about it. Anything you need to create a universe can be done with just existence. You don't need a deity. It could simply just be a property of existence.
Yes,
Well,
and
but,
I would add to that existence is the one and only thing, if a God exists, that he needs to rely on. Because if he's not part of existence, then he doesn't exist. Therefore, he's not real. Yeah. So if there is a basis for everything, it's existence.
Yeah, if you're assuming a God, you have to assume an existence first. That's why it can't. That's why it can't be primary. I know some people like to pretend that God could be a primary, but if God is a primary, then he simply logically does not exist.
I like how Einstein put it. God is the first cause, quote unquote.
Yeah. So Einstein would call existence the first cause when I brought it up.
No. He said God is the first cause, and existence is through God.
Yeah. Now you didn't understand what Einstein meant by God.
Yes,
the Bible self-reveals.
No, you think you do.
As the
I've got Einstein as my logo, and I've got tons of quotes where Einstein actually points out that he is an atheist. But
right, do you have the quote where Einstein said that, and people call him an atheist? It literally pissed him off. Did you get that quote?
Yeah,
no, I got the letter.
The Gutwein letter, the fake Gutwein letter, right?
Oh man!
You got the forged Gutwein letter that an atheist church sold anonymously in 2008 that could never be verified.
Do you have that access?
Conspiracy.
What is he talking about there? Like a forged letter?
He was rambling about a quote that an atheist church had come up with.
I don't know what that even means.
But
Einstein never said he was an atheist. In fact, he said that he doesn't prefer that label because it doesn't capture what it is that he believes. That he believes in God, something like what Spinoza would have believed in, but slightly different. He would have been more along the lines of a pantheist.
Pantheist, yeah.
Which is a form of non-theism, but it isn't atheism.
And now Kafai is going to pop up in chat and tell us about panentheists. So, anyway. Oh, J Mike is here. That's a Darth fan, isn't it?
How's it going? No.
No?
J Mike is an atheist and a physicalist.
Jay. Who am I thinking of? Jay Robin?
Yeah, you are. You're thinking of Jay Robin, yes.
I'm sorry. I apologize. What?
Just to piss off everyone here. Can you share my screen?
Yeah. Where's your screen? Okay, hang on a second. Oh, I just have to do that. What you read about my religious?
If you want, Leo, you can read that out aloud. So, you just curious.
What's the source on this?
Einstein's
letter dated.
Einstein's book, The Human Side.
I haven't read that book, so I can't clarify whether this statement. But from my research, this statement would be wrong because he never claimed to be an atheist.
It's a letter dated 24th of March, 1954, and Einstein included it in his book, The Human Side.
According to Walter Isaacson, 2008, Einstein is Life in His Universe. He did not believe. Can I finish what I'm saying, please? Can I finish?
Because I'm
Can we get some moderation? Because I just wanted to make a point here really quick. He did not believe in a personal God who concerns himself with fates and actions of human beings, a view which he described as naive. He clarified, however, that, quote, I am not an atheist, end quote, preferring to call himself an agnostic or a quote unquote religious non-believer. Yes, I shared it at the beginning. 2008, Walter Isaacson, Einstein is Life in the Universe. Alice Calipris, 2010, The Ultimate Quotable Einstein. And Alice Calipris, 2000, The Quotable Einstein. Both of those latter ones are from the Princeton University Press, and the former one is from New York Simon & Schuster on page 390.
Okay, put the links in. Put the links in chat.
They won't be links, but they will be professional citations.
Leo, can I just ask you one simple question? So you're going to believe other people over the man himself?
Einstein. Right. Well, I'd have to read the book, and since I haven't, I'm going to I'm going to go with what the professionals that know Einstein and that studied his work and all that stuff.
This is a letter you will find that Neil deGrasse Tyson quotes regularly, and he has
I'm sure,
and he has a copy of the actual letter when he does presentations. He will show it on screen.
Okay,
but
I'm still
probably
what the professionals on Einstein
it was some atheist church who made that up. I'm so sick and tired of people quoting Einstein when it's literally in his book.
It's the book he wrote, right?
The last sentence of that letter is, "I am, of course, and always have been an atheist." I think that would remove all doubt.
Let's see. Okay,
but might be wrong, because this is Einstein talking, not anyone else in 2008 after he died, or 2010 after he died. Those people probably know a lot more about Einstein than Einstein did.
Let's see. So that is a collection of his archives, basically archived letters and stuff. The human side. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway, I would buy what he said in the letter. So.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
I can't see the letter. All I have is a meme. I shared 3 academic sources, and Peter has a meme.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying that he's wrong. I'm just saying that there's been no academic citation.
I literally copied this from Neil deGrasse Tyson's slide, showing the actual letter.
And this would be more of an argument from authority. Well, Neil deGrasse Tyson said this, so it must be true.
He showed Einstein's letter. He has a copy.
Well, I'm just curious why, like, those who have biographically studied Einstein don't say this then. Like, what is it that they have missed that Neil deGrasse Tyson somehow figured out? The letter,
probably.
I wonder why this, out of everything in Albert Einstein's life, this one thing in this one letter, somehow they managed to miss, but they got everything else.
You'd have to take that up with them.
Yeah, I think the whole deal is that Einstein was a public figure, and most scientists who are actually atheists will talk about a Spinozan God, or basically God is the universe or whatever, and they have to be a little careful sometimes what they say in public, and oftentimes they will seem to contradict themselves. And anyway, so
Einstein did say that if anything to him should be anything like a god, then it would be the universe.
Yeah. So this is the ultimate. It's not that
he said. He didn't say it was his god. He said if anything should be considered to be a god, then it only
here's the quote in full that you're citing from, which once it's in the full context. So what you got, and I'm not saying you did this, but you said you got it from like a Neil deGrasse Tyson. You must have clipped this out. The whole quote is as follows, verbatim quote: "From the viewpoint of a Jesuit priest, I am, of course, and always have been an atheist." So he is saying that from the perspective of the Jesuits, he would be an atheist, but that he does not consider himself an atheist. So that would why the academic people who see Einstein don't consider him an atheist, because he didn't. He was pointing out that how from the Jesuits would have considered him an atheist because of, and that's, having talked with Jesuits myself, that makes a lot of sense. Because he consistently said that he does not believe, that he is not an atheist, that he does not believe in any personal God. He believes in something along the lines of what Spinoza said, that by all rights, Einstein was a pantheist.
It said that in my quote. So you didn't read it. I'll read it for you. If something is in me which can be called religious, then it's the unbounded admiration for the structure of the world so far as our science can reveal it. That was in the quote.
Yes. So then he's not an atheist. If he's a pantheist, he can't be a pantheist.
Also, no, You didn't listen to what I said, right? If something is in me which can be called religious, then it is the unbounded admiration for the structure of the world so far as our science can reveal it.
Yeah, that's pantheism.
No, that's not pantheism.
That would be
That
be
is him. That is him explaining his admiration for the structure of the world so far as our science can reveal it. He also says, I do not believe in a personal God, and I have never denied this, but have expressed it clearly. That makes him an atheist.
Not an atheist. He's even said he's not an
because
atheist.
if you
And he
believe in
told
a God,
the rabbi
if you
Herbert
believe in a
Goldstein,
God,
quote, I
hold
believe
on.
in Spinoza's
If you
God
believe-
who
if you
reveals
believe-
himself in the harmony of all that exists.
If you,
Not
I
in a God
wasn't
who
finished.
concerns himself with
Hey
faith.
guys,
you
stop
believe-
over talking to each other. Both of you.
If
God damn
you believe in a God or gods, then you're a theist. If you do not believe in a God or gods, then you're an atheist.
That's not. No, that's not what atheism is normatively understood to be.
According to at least 3 encyclopedias of philosophy, that's it.
No, in
If you-
fact, according
and
to
if
the
you
world's
disagree
3
with
foremost encyclopedias of philosophy, the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, the Rutledge Encyclopedia of Philosophy, and the Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy, as well as according to the Encyclopedia Britannica, the Oxford English Dictionary, the Cambridge English Dictionary, and the Merriam-Webster's English Dictionary, the actual academic versions of these dictionaries, atheism is explicitly construed as belief that God does not exist. It was represented in philosophy as a doxastic position on a proposition. You might not yourself personally interpret it that way, and that's fine. I'm not saying you're wrong. What I'm saying is normatively. Can I finish what I'm saying?
I know for a fact that the
Normatively,
Stanford Encyclopedia
normatively, the word atheism is
definitions.
construed as a doxastic position. So, like I said, I'm not saying you're wrong. That might be the way that you choose to utilize the definition. But in philosophy, that is not at all what atheism is construed as. And that's not what Einstein would have understood it as either.
In the SEP, both definitions are listed. Both definitions are listed as academic definitions as
do you know
well
what
as
the SCP?
colloquial
Yes.
definitions.
Do you know what the SCP says about them? Do you know the differentiation that the SCP makes? Because everybody says, "Oh, well, the SCP mentions both," and that is correct. It mentions both, but it makes it delineates between the two of them. Quoting from that very article, verbatim. Unfortunately, this argument overlooks the fact that if atheism is defined as a psychological state, then no proposition can count as a form of atheism because a proposition is not a psychological state. This undermines his argument in defense of Flu's definition, for it implies that what he calls strong atheism, the proposition or belief in the sense of something believed, that there is no God, is not really a variety of atheism at all. In short, his proposed umbrella term leaves strong atheism out in the rain. So they mention both definitions. Nobody's saying that one definition is right and one definition is wrong, but the SEP makes clear that the defining atheism as a doxastic position is the normative construction of that term as it is utilized in philosophy.
And
Okay.
I would strongly oppose that it's today it's still the normative.
Not within philosophy.
No, well,
fuck philosophy.
How
do people use it?
I'm not looking at philosophy. I'm looking at people who
Well, I mean,
identify
if we're talking
as
about
atheists.
yeah, but if we're talking about the theist versus debate, that's a philosophical matter.
90% and more couldn't care less about philosophy. I'm one of them.
Well, yeah, but the reason that I actually don't think that's true. Also, the theist versus atheist debate discourse that is had is very much. Can I finish, please? Can I finish?
You don't think
finish,
that
please?
I don't care
So
about
the whole
philosophy.
atheist, I didn't say that. You said that like 90% of people don't. That I'm sorry, that's just wrong. Most people I know are very much interested in philosophy and what it has to say on numerous different things. But the point is that we can disregard the philosophy here, but the theist versus atheist discord is very much grounded in philosophy.
Argument of personal
you might not like philosophy personally. That's okay, but that does not in any way, shape, or form mean that the theist atheist discourse that is had is not a philosophical one, because it is. I also really quickly, according to the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, the Encyclopedia of Unbelief, the the Encyclopedia of Philosophy, 2nd edition, the Oxford Companion to Philosophy, new edition, 2005, the Blackwell Dictionary of Western Philosophy, and the Rutledge Encyclopedia of Philosophy. Atheism is generally construed as a doxastic position on the proposition God exists, rejecting that there is any truth value expressed by it. I.e., it is the position of belief that God does not exist normatively within philosophy, and atheist discourse is very much a philosophical one. So I would argue that is, in these contexts, in these discussions, the definition that one should be utilizing.
Who gives a rat's ass what Einstein thought?
Yeah, and who gives a rat's ass what an encyclopedia says? If people do, I would point them to Nate the Lawyer's channel, who dug up everything there is to know about the definition in his argument with Steve McRae.
He got a lot wrong.
He used the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy.
Yes, and he strawmanned them and cherry-picked. I watched that debate. Nate did terrible. Nate did absolutely terrible in that debate.
It wasn't a debate.
They had a debate. I don't know what you're talking about, but I saw that
they never had that debate. That's why
you're right. I'm thinking of somebody else. You're right.
Yeah.
So, CRISPR does.
And the reason they never had that debate is because Steve checked what Nate found and found that Nate was correct, so he wouldn't debate him.
Wait, Nate correct though.
So CRISPR made a.
We always talk about Stanford. Yeah, that is a really good point. I'm sorry, but the theist-atheist discourse is a philosophical discourse. If you don't like philosophy, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. I know a lot of people that don't like it. The
thing is that pantheism turns to atheism so easily that.
Oh, it doesn't. No, it does not.
It does. It
does. No.
Okay, tell me why it doesn't. Tell me why it doesn't.
Because pantheism isn't even close to atheism.
Shut the fuck up for 1 minute while I finish.
Well, you asked me a question. Did you want?
I didn't mean you to start answering right away. Okay, the universe is God, basically, or the creator of everything, or everything there is the universe.
That's
is an atheist position.
No, it's not.
Sorry,
no,
you're not picking any particular You're picking the universe. You're picking physicality, right? That is an atheist position.
That's not generally what pantheism is. Pantheism is the idea that the divine exists or pervades everything. So that's the thing. Yeah. Atheism is essentially a rejection of the existence of. Atheism is generally construed as a rejection of the existence of divine things, but pantheists believe in the divine. They just believe it pervades everything. So
what do they believe in?
Pantheism and atheism are not at all the same thing.
Okay, define divine. What is the divine they believe in? The pantheists.
I'm showing it on screen. I'm showing it on screen. It's me.
Go to dictionary. Divine. Divine of form,
according to the God Third Presbyterian Church.
Oh no! I hate the Peter in me. I prefer it elsewhere. What?
No, you asked what divine was.
Suddenly got silent after I showed that. So a lot of people are fantasizing.
Okay.
I take
Leo, what did you tell me the divine was again?
So let me go back to here we are, dictionary.cambridge.org.
In pantheism, the divine.
Here we
connected
go.
with a god or like a god.
I'm just so excited.
Would say that the universe is something like a god. That divinity pervades through it. So yeah, they're not.
Okay, so
they don't
really
reject
says nothing at all.
That idea. They're not atheists.
Universe. That doesn't tell me anything about divine or God at all. You haven't told me anything about divine.
But they believe. Yeah, because that's pantheism is not theism. Pantheism is technically considered a form of non-theism. It just isn't atheism. Non-theism would be the set. Both pantheism and atheism would be separate elements of that set.
Well, I think we're what is it? Potato here at this point. Basically, I don't think so. I feel a kinship with pantheism because I worship complexity in nature and the physical universe. And I would define that as divine. And I frequently call it God when I'm dealing with people that believe in God. And I'm an atheist. So how the fuck
I
does
would
that
consider
hash
you
up?
more.
So
You
I'm
would
an
be more of a
atheist?
naturalistic pantheist.
No, I'm an atheist. I don't
You,
believe in any
from
kind
what you
of.
just
I don't
described,
believe. Okay, it basically theist in that atheist means something with a fucking mind or something like consciousness or
that's
mind or
classical
whatever.
theism. That's classical theism.
Right. And I
Pantheism
am
is not
I am
classical
a
theism.
that.
It's not really theism.
Okay,
Well, yeah,
so what the
I
fuck
mean,
is the difference
wait,
between
hold on,
pantheism?
because
What
keep
difference does it make?
I keep trying to explain this to you. You keep thinking that pantheism is classified under theism. Technically, it's not. So you're still a non-theist. Pantheists are non-theists, which is part of the reason why the word non-theist is not synonymous with atheist, because pantheists aren't atheists, agnostics aren't atheists,
So that means I
igtheists
could
or
be an
agnostics
atheist?
are not atheists. Ietzists, I think I'm pronouncing that right, are not atheists. Apatheists are not atheists. Theological non-cognitivists are not atheists. There might be one sort of particular, not really stance. Oh, what's the term I'm looking for? There's in logic, there's a semantic that might connect different forms of non-theism, but that doesn't make them all the same thing, which
Okay, so you
is
said-
This
hang on a
this
second.
young skull full of mush
elucidated.
thinks he's so smart. He thinks he was.
Peter.
I mean,
Peter.
he was a train wreck.
Peter. Stop it. Okay, so you said that pantheism is not theism, right? It's not a kind of theism,
It's not,
right?
no.
Okay, and if you have a theist and I'm an atheist and pantheism is not theism, then I can be a pantheist and an atheist at the same time. Why not?
No,
Why
because
not?
you're
Why not?
conflating. Would you gonna let me explain?
Atheism is
You're
all
conflating.
inclusive.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I kind of get what Danny's saying now. I'm not gonna lie. So atheism and non-theism are not.
Don't you fucking dare!
He did. He did.
I mean, did you
Don't
hear me?
you
Because I'm not
fucking
going to pull
dare.
a Darth and explain it 15 billion times.
Okay, no. Okay, so pantheism is not about theism, right? So what is pantheism? If you're not a theist, what is it?
Wait, you're a non. If you're a pantheist, you're also a non-theist.
A non-theist.
Mm-hmm. You would reject classical. You would reject classical notions of a god, a theistic or a deistic type of god.
Okay, and what do you accept if you're a
intelligent
pantheist?
entity separate from reality? But pantheists don't believe in some entity, whether it's theistic or deistic, separate from reality. They believe that what we would call God or what we would call the divine pervades through reality. That it is a part of reality.
I'm going to regret this.
Pantheism. So
Leo,
that's
are atheists non-theists?
Yes, atheists. All atheists are non-theists. Not all non-theists are atheists. Much the same way that all humans are mammals, but not all mammals are humans.
Atheists are non-theists.
Maybe what you're trying to say, Speed, is that like maybe the pantheist position against their wishes commits them to the atheism because they're not going to agree with atheism.
Yeah,
They
but
might
what
just
the
use-
hell? What does pantheism give you? What is accepted outside of atheism? What is the
Well,
thing
I'm just saying that
they're accepting?
the position, they're going to reject the atheism. They think atheism is false. But
I think what Speed is asking is what is the deity in pantheism?
Pantheism, right?
Unfortunately,
but that's the thing. There
pantheism is not
isn't
a-
one.
it's
Which
not
is
a
why it's a
monolith-
form of non-theism and not a
that's
form of
atheism.
theism. because
Wait, let me
no,
say something.
no. You keep conflating non-theism and atheism. Those are not the same thing. Those are not synonyms. They're not. I mean, atheist, naturalist, philosopher Graham Oppie will tell you. Same with Alex Malpass. Those two terms are not synonyms. They never have been.
Yeah, usually like an agnostic could say it's a non-theist.
Pantheism a subset of atheism, not the other way
No,
around.
atheism is a subset of non-theism. Includes agnosticism, atheism, theological non-cognitivism, pantheism, apatheism, agnosticism.
includes
Because
agnosticism.
none of those incorporate belief in some form of classical theistic or deistic God. So
But
they're
the problem
non-theistic.
Theism includes agnosticism.
Well, let me
No.
offer what I have to say about pantheism.
Yes,
I think
because
that-
knowledge,
Yeah, let
because
Danny
knowledge is
talk.
demonstrable, and the first theist that will demonstrate their God to me
Wait, what?
has yet to be found.
I don't know what you're saying. Atheism is not contained under theism because theism contains belief that God exists.
You answered the
Agnostics
question,
do not
then
have
you
the
didn't
belief that
even
God
hear
exists.
it.
So
That wasn't what I was
they're
talking about.
Okay, wait.
They're
Let me.
That wasn't my point.
Let me.
That wasn't my point. You didn't even hear my point.
Okay, let Danny
Go ahead,
talk. Let Danny
Well,
talk.
part of the confusion here is that pantheism is not a monolith of a position, whereas theism is. And the problem with pantheism is that there are so many nuances going around with respect to each pantheist that they're going to disagree with one another. Like Spinoza, if you even he never identified as a pantheist. I mean, but we can understand why the label pantheist.
Did the term exist back then? Do you know?
I think the term came in the 1700s. So Spinoza was a little bit before that, anyways. I think, right? I think he was late, early 1600s. I'm not so sure. I'm not so good on my history. But the point is that, like Spinoza thinks that the God was personal. Some pantheists, like Einstein, if you consider Einstein to be a pantheist, didn't think God was personal. So, like, there's just a lot of nuances with pantheism, and there's not really good agreement about what the position is exactly. It's not like a monolith of a position, but it's okay to say that there is some kind of identity relation or some kind of equivalency relation between divineness or God and the cosmos, right? Whether that be the set of behaviors that the cosmos is or the substance, right? There's just a lot of nuance. So it's not very easy to characterize.
Okay, so non-theism, you said, Leo, contains atheism and agnosticism as two different things. And it also contains, but it doesn't contain pantheism, or it does?
It does. It does contain pantheism.
So, okay, so it contains those three things. So those three things.
Let me say, generally speaking, it contains pantheism. But I suppose there could be something that's pantheistic, at least broadly, yet might closer to more of a classical theistic type of divinity. I mean, like Danny said, and what I said initially is pantheism is a little bit, there's some nuance there, but pantheism, generally speaking, is something like divinity exists, but it pervades all reality. Something along those lines. Maybe not that exactly, but that would be, again, generally speaking, classified under non-theism, since there's no belief in some personal entity, some personal intelligent entity. What's ontology is separate from physical reality. Whereas generally in pantheism, the divinity there is it's not at least fully separate from reality.
Yeah, but and I'm fine. And they're going to reject atheism. Pantheists are going to reject atheism. But 100%. I think what Speed was trying to say was something like, "Hey, I don't understand how pantheists. What is the like? If I bet I could give an argument to show you, Mr. Pantheist, why you're just an atheist, and then Speed, you could lay out your argument. But they're going to reject. They're going to fight you on that.
Yeah, but I want to know why a pantheist. Why? On what basis would a pantheist reject atheism?
Because
think about the claim.
Atheism is making the statement that things like gods and the divinity are not real. They have no actual ontology. So a pantheist, being somebody who believes that there is something divine,
hold on a second. We have a man of
rejecting that. Yes, that's great, but I'd like to finish my point before we move on to somebody else. Just
but you did, Leo.
Well, I mean, Randolph said it was all right for me to finish.
Leo, you have to buy some periods.
I mean,
okay?
That's fine, but I don't want the beginning of other people's sentences to interrupt the middle of mine and for you to let them do that.
Yeah, please let Leo finish. Yeah.
So a pantheist is going to reject that because they do believe that something divine exists. The fact that they believe that it just pervades, again, generally speaking, that it pervades reality doesn't mean that it isn't divine. There's still something there. Something that in some way, shape, or form, I think that you could say maybe is supervenient to reality in some sense rather than being fully transcendent. Because, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Danny, because I may be, but when I think of transcendence, I think of almost being separate from the thing that you're transcending rather than pervading through it. But I suppose that maybe you could be transcendent yet still pervade through the thing that you transcend. I don't.
Well, there's something called panentheism that you might. The idea is that God is not exhausted in the by the cosmos, but the cosmos is included in God. So that's like a variant. But the point is that I just don't really like to talk about I mean, I think it's fine to say, look, pantheism is the general position that there's some kind of equivalency relation between God and the cosmos, and they want to say that that's just a distinct position from atheism. I think that's totally fine. Right.
Yeah.
Now, if you have an argument against pantheism, that's no one's gonna like. That's fine. You have an argument against pantheism, but they're gonna say, I'm just telling you that from the position of the pantheist, they're gonna reject atheism.
Okay, I want to hear from Randolph. Anybody that interrupts him goes in the back room.
If people want to interject, I'm okay. But yeah, I appreciate that. Now, and I apologize, Theo. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Okay. I just wanted to point out that I disagree with the point you were making. The terms, as I understand them, atheism is 100% synonymous with non-theism. When people actually hold a position there are no deities, that's more of an anti-theistic attitude. The linguistic structure supports this. It goes all the way back to the etymology as well. It's common usage. This is how it's commonly understood. There are some people who seem to put a lot more onto it, and I find that it's from theists that I normally hear this idea that atheism is more than just not believing in deities, and it must only be a position that deities don't exist. And so I disagree with that because it's an attempt to shift the burden of proof and ignore how the language is structured and commonly understood.
Yeah, I mean, to say that atheism is only ever an explicit denial of the existence of gods or deities, it wouldn't be correct. But to say that atheism is only just lacking belief isn't necessarily correct either. You could construe atheism in both those senses in some context, but in the context that we were having as it relates to pantheism, unfortunately, unfortunately, that's going to depend on your personal preferences for the paths from which we approach a discussion, but that discussion that we were having is a philosophical discussion. And so within the context of that discussion, at least, we'll have to construe atheism under more of a philosophical definition. And at least philosophically, atheism is generally construed as the belief that gods do not exist. Now, I'm willing to concede that philosophically, yes, but there's a much broader, more colloquial definition of the word that you'll find, which is generally something along the lines of lack of belief or just not possessing the belief in deities, which is not an incorrect definition of the word. It's just not the only way the word can be construed. So, much like other words that we have in our language, the definitions, even though they might be similar, can still vary depending on what particular context we're utilizing that word.
So the reason that conflation occurs is because there are an anti-theistic approach does not exclude atheism. Atheism does not exclude that because by holding a position there are no deities, as a matter of consequence, one does not believe in deities, so they are also an atheist. Atheism doesn't reciprocate, though, and this is where the confusion comes in. When you talk about philosophical definition, I'm willing to say that in philosophy of religion, that is what's being promoted. But in general philosophy, I find that's not the case. So there's a distinction there. So, because
you find what's not the case?
Just in general philosophy, that it's defined the way you say it is. Like even the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy acknowledges that atheism is understood as being an absence of belief in deities.
Yeah, I went over this with Peter already. It says that is a definition of it, but it actually makes explicitly clear, and I can actually give the same quote from that very article in the SCP if you'd like, that there are problems, at least philosophically, with that definition within a philosophical framework. Mainly one of the problems, and I believe that Alex Malpass and Graham Oppie have both expressed this, is that when you expand atheism to just mean non-theism, then when you're discussing things like the discussion we were just having, a pantheist would be an atheist, which doesn't make sense. There's now you've lost any meaningful ability to differentiate between pantheism and agnosticism and atheism and agnosticism and theological non-cognitivism and it's just all atheism at this point. There's no meaningful distinction between these quite nuanced positions that one can hold as it relates to this. But there's just one more thing I wanted to mention quickly. Anti-theism is not construed in terms of I guess you could say the ontology of theism, like whether or not God exists. It's construed in terms of what's called the axiology of theism, which is whether or not the existence of God would contribute value or detract value from our society. So a pro-theist would be somebody who believes that would say that God's existence would contribute or add value to our world, whereas an anti-theist would claim that it detracts value from our world. And while such a position would be probably would be explicitly unorthodox, and you probably wouldn't find it. It is possible for somebody to be both a theist and an anti-theist, because those are construed in two different things. The former in terms of the ontology of God's existence, the latter in terms of the value of God's existence. And those are not the same thing. And this is from the Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy, which is a peer-reviewed academic press, by the way.
That's only one opinion piece in philosophical.
Well, it's not
Cambridge
an opinion. It's
and others. Cambridge and others also have different views on it, and there's
but they say the same thing. Like if you search axiology of theism and like the Routledge Encyclopedia of Philosophy, I actually looked it up in the library. I went into my library, got the actual. They have, I think, like a 10 or 12 volume set of the Routledge Encyclopedia of Philosophy from like 1999. Pulled it out. The axiology of theism says the same thing. So
First of all,
these are not opinions because they're peer reviewed. It would be like saying that if I presented a peer reviewed scientific paper concerning something in evolutionary theory, a creationist is not capable of saying, well, that's just opinion. This is peer reviewed. This means that this has been examined and understood by others in the field related to what is being talked about.
And yet the consensus.
I've got a question. Do you breathe through another orifice than your mouth? I mean,
no, Peter. No. I want to address these points that Leophilius made. So
I'm just curious.
Atheism is not an expansion. This is what it means, and what it is it's an attempt there's an attempt being made by some people to limit the scope of it. Primarily, I find it's theists, but not entirely, who are trying to limit the scope of what atheism is, so that they can shift the burden of proof onto the atheists. When I tell you I don't believe in deities, I'm an atheist, and I'm not going to take on a burden of proof to say that deities don't exist, because I don't hold that position.
Can I ask you a quick question, Randall?
Hang on. I'm going to answer you.
I'm sorry. Finish. I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought you were done. I'm sorry.
I'm going to respond. That's the first point I'm responding to. Your next point was about pantheism. Now, pantheism, as I see it, is defined as identifying that God with the universe. It's a worship that admits and tolerates all gods. So that, to me, doesn't sound like an atheistic position, because there is a belief kind of acceptance that there are deities in existence that need to be worshipped and whatnot. So to me, that's a theistic. Pantheism is probably a more specialized, a more specific subset of theism in that case.
Did everybody hear what the doofus
another
Randolph
point that you made
just
was
said?
I being the opposite of pro. Why?
What just happened?
Oh, I thought that was me at first. Randolph, you're cut out right now. I don't know.
Being the opposite of pro, doesn't it?
All right, you're back. Nope.
Hello.
So how's everybody doing
so you
today?
mentioned pro.
Randolph, you're cutting out.
That's a little weird.
Yeah, he has that sometimes.
You brought up a new phrase. I had opposite to anti-theism.
Randolph, you cut out. No one heard you.
Yeah. Okay, so you suggested pro-theist would be an opposite to anti-theist. I'm thinking a more appropriate opposite to pro-theist would be con-theist, because pro and con are actual opposites. Anti is not the opposite of pro as much as con would be.
And anti, well, that just depends on, again, I mean, in mathematics, in logic, in linguistics, those are going to have different connotations. Within the axiology of theism, the connotation that is being used in anti would be the same as it is with matter and antimatter, that it is considered the opposite. So pro-theism, the reason they're putting pro there is the same way you would say like pro-choice. They're in favor of belief in God, or rather, they're in favor of God existing, because so that you would say that they're in favor of theism. They're pro-theism because they believe it adds value to the world. Whereas an anti-theist is against theism. They're not against it in terms of its ontology, but against it in terms of its axiology. They don't think that it contributes value, rather that it detracts value. So they would be anti-theist. And so within the context of the philosophical discussion concerning the axiology of theism, and I did provide, just for anybody that's interested in the private chat, I got to get it in the YouTube chat here, the IEP article on the axiology of theism. But I did want to ask you a quick question, Randolph. I have a feeling I know exactly what you're going to say after I ask it, and that's fine. But does God exist?
I'm going to try to switch over to a wired connection. I'll be right back.
Okay.
God doesn't exist.
No, he does not.
So, anyways, now
I'm not going to believe in God anymore.
Anyways,
I also,
now that we're
just really quickly, I wanted to read
No,
this.
no,
This is,
please, hold on.
So
Tanya has expressed the
non-theism
desire to be
is the
with the
range
cool
of both
kids.
religious
So
and non-religious attitudes characterized by the attitudes characterized by the absence of a spouse belief in a god or gods.
Sorry,
Anyway,
can you back up
it
30
is
seconds? I just switched to a wired connection. I missed that. I
all
apologize.
right. Yeah. So the question that I was going to ask you is, does God exist?
Okay, so this sounds more like an epistemological category kind of proposal. Proposition.
Well, it's a question.
Yeah, it's a question. So if I tell you I don't believe in deities, from an atheistic perspective, I don't believe that a deity exists. From an agnostic perspective, I don't know if a deity exists. So I fit those two categories.
So would you answer I don't know to the question, does God exist? Would that be I don't really know?
That would be an agnostic response, yes, and that applies to me.
Okay,
as well as not believing. So I fit both of those classifications, the atheism one and the agnostic one.
And just really quickly, Danny, are you still there?
Yeah.
Do you believe that God exists?
No.
Okay.
You're asking Danny a different
wait, hold on.
You're asking Danny a different
I
question.
was trying to go two different ways. The second question I was going to ask you, Danny, is does God exist?
No.
Okay. The reason I asked the two questions was to sort of differentiate between what the two questions, sort of the information that is trying to. No.
That's all. Yeah,
to try to just kind of for everybody.
Danny,
can
you demonstrate the last claim?
Yes.
Okay,
Ooh,
go ahead.
Interesting, because
I would agree with him. Yes.
I can't demonstrate it, so I'm interested in this.
Well, I think that disembodied minds are incoherent. I think the idea is that disembodied minds would, since they don't have bodies, that means they have no limitation. So
that would be an argument, not a demonstration. I was asking for a demonstration.
Wait,
I think that's a category error then. I thought you meant demonstration in terms of argument.
I was asking for a demonstration, not an argument.
That's just a category error, Peter.
Wait, hold on. When you say demonstration, what do you mean, Peter?
Demonstrate.
Like, what is it that you're asking? Yeah, but when you say demonstrate, like, what are you asking for? Like, are you asking for like an experiment done on something? Like, what do you mean when you say demonstrate?
Peter, if I may, I think I can help. I think what Peter's saying is that Danny has made a statement here that you asked him, does a deity exist? And Danny said no. So Danny's taking a position that deities don't exist.
Yeah,
and Peter,
I would as well.
So, and Peter, so you're both taking the same position. And what Peter's asking for is he's saying, okay, you have an onus of justification or burden of proof here.
Yeah.
Prove your claim. Prove your
that's
position.
what I'm doing. I'm giving
Is that right, Peter?
Really quickly.
And an argument, I would add, is not proof of anything. It's an argument.
That is false. That is
explicitly
false.
false.
Hold on. I got this one. It is explicitly
guys,
false.
hold on.
Christ, I can't even get halfway through something without getting interrupted in some way, shape, or form.
Okay, Leo, when I start talking, you shut the fuck up, all of you do, okay? Okay, anyway, I'm going to let you guys run, and I'm just going to mute, and I'm going to step away and walk outside for a minute, so fucking have at it. Have fun.
Okay. So if I
don't look for rat body,
I can
go on to answers in atheism.
I can present the argument: if P and Q, P therefore Q. Now, Peter, would you agree that that is logically valid?
I'll respond with my own argument. So I argue that protons must be blue because electrons are red.
I remember those texts.
That wasn't an argument.
Now I'm curious whether or not you will accept this as my demonstration.
That's invalid.
That protons are blue.
And the original point that I wanted to get at is you don't.
I'm making an argument, right?
When,
so
when
that's
I hear you
valid.
say demonstrate, when I hear you say demonstrate, I'm thinking, at least in my mind, I'm thinking something along the lines of empiric. That you're asking for something that's empiric.
Hold on.
But the thing is that you don't need just the empirics when defending. I haven't even gotten to finish. and that's why I've just kept going. When we talk about providing a burden of justification for some proposition, that does not require specifically or exclusively any empiric. You can utilize philosophical arguments or logical argumentation to justify that. So when you ask for a demonstration, but Danny gives you an argument, that doesn't
one at a
not meeting
time.
his burden of justification.
Leo, shorten your
I'm
answer.
actually trying to finish the point. My point really wasn't that long. It's that I keep getting
this is a
interrupted.
conversation, not a monologue.
Peter,
Leo, this is a conversation.
I was
Leo.
less than a minute.
You were monologuing. I already said I accept that. So, okay.
Yes, but
my
you didn't let
argument.
me finish. It's cool
my
that you accept it, but
argument.
let me finish
My
the point I'm
argument.
making.
I already accepted it. Don't keep repeating yourself. You sound like
didn't.
Darth Dawkins.
I hadn't finished.
I wish I had God powers. I mean, mod powers, so I can vote.
I think I made it clear that an argument does nothing to help you prove
You make clear that an
anything.
invalid argument does nothing. Sound arguments do something for justification.
Explain to
You
me.
gave an
explain to
invalid
me-
argument, Peter.
Hold on. No. You made a specific.
What form are you using
said,
if it's valid?
Danny, you said a sound argument. Point out where my argument isn't sound.
Well, the argument that you gave. Wait, no, hold on. The argument that you gave with the protons
My
and
argument
electrons,
was
that
perfectly
wasn't an
sound.
argument. That wasn't an argument.
My
That was a
argument.
statement.
My
You didn't
argument.
give an argument.
Do you know what a
My
sound argument is, Peter? Just ask
My
him what a sound
argument-
argument is.
My argument was perfectly sound.
What is a
No, it
sound
wasn't.
argument, Peter? I bet you don't even know.
Do you know the difference between sound
Do you
and
know
valid?
what a sound
Yes, I
argument
do.
is? Try not to embarrass yourself, Peter.
I think the
An
guy
argument-
that's studying for a
An
master's degree in
argument can be
philosophy does too.
completely invalid and still be 100%
What is a sound argument?
No, it can't.
Yes,
No,
it can.
No, it can't.
You have no idea what you're talking about. Let me teach you. A sound argument is when all the premises are true and the conclusion is guaranteed by the premises. Why don't you read a book, Peter, like once in your life?
That's a valid argument. A sound argument.
The valid
is-
argument is when the conclusion follows
A
from the
sound
premises.
argument is an argument
Yes.
without contradictions.
No. You
No.
have no idea what you're talking about. A conclusion, when the conclusion is guaranteed by the premises, but the premises are false, that can be a valid argument. But if the premises are true and the conclusion follows from the premises, that's a sound argument, you dumbass.
Okay, now hold on. We don't need the dumbass. That's just unnecessary.
No, he's being pretentious.
Cool.
He doesn't.
You think that's cool? You can think that, but you just
Okay,
don't
fuck
need to
off,
throw
Mr.
those.
30-year-old.
You just
You're
don't.
done.
There's ways to approach it. You just don't. Anyway, from again the Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy, which is a peer-reviewed academic press, a deductive argument is said to be valid if and only if it takes a form that makes it impossible for the premises to be true and the conclusion nevertheless to be false. Otherwise, a deductive argument is said to be invalid. A deductive argument is sound if and only if it is both valid and
you're
all of
correct.
its premises
You're correct.
are actually
Hold on.
true.
You're correct.
Otherwise, a deductive
You're correct.
argument is unsound.
Hold on. I said you're correct. This was a language barrier thing. You're correct. I was wrong with the sound and the valid. I mixed those up.
Okay, so what you gave was unsound and invalid.
How was it invalid?
You said something if X is not red because it's not blue. What is it?
No.
X is red because Y is blue, I think is which.
Yeah, what
more
form
of a
is that?
That's more of a proposition than an
Okay.
argument.
What I tried to point out before we fell into this never-ending rabbit hole is that an argument isn't evidence.
But they
You're right.
can be.
Arguments and evidence are not the same thing, but arguments and sound arguments and evidence can substantiate justification.
And you can still make a sound argument. That doesn't mean
that means you're committed to the conclusion.
Wait, hold on.
It doesn't.
I'm trying to understand what Peter's getting. Peter, are you saying if somebody just gives an argument, like if I gave like a modus ponens argument that let me
clarify. The kalam, according to some people, is a sound argument.
According to some, it is, but it's not.
Okay. Before we knew what we know now, it would have been a sound argument. It still does nothing. It still does nothing to prove a God. What I want you to do, if you make the claim there are no gods, then you need to demonstrate that you are correct. Knowledge is demonstrable. So if you say no, let me finish. I let you finish several times, and you took 15 minutes to talk.
Right, sure, yeah.
Okay, so knowledge is demonstrable. Peter. So I still love you too. I mean,
that was awesome.
Yeah,
that sounded great.
Yeah, I can't help it. He's still my favorite angry atheist.
I love you too, Peter.
Yeah,
Peter, I love you.
I'm sorry, I fell asleep.
Oh my god, I haven't heard that one yet. That's fucking funny.
Oh, I've got a soundbite I'm going to put together. It's Darth Dawkins saying that he's joined Canadian atheists.
Okay, so now that we've all told each other that we love each other, Darth.
Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya.
Okay, I think we brought it down from very tense to a little less tense now.
Oh yeah, I'm choking on.
What I'm saying is, knowledge is demonstrable. So when you say I know there is no God, you have to demonstrate that you are correct. Not argue. Hold on. I'm not finished.
I already asked my question.
Not argue that you are correct. You need to demonstrate you're correct.
Do you mean, by what you mean by demonstrable? Do you mean justification?
Okay, I'll show you. So the fact that
I want to know what you mean by demonstrable. I don't want you to show me anything but the meaning of demonstrable. Otherwise, we're just going to spend all day.
Danny, shut up. Danny, shut up. The fact that people think that I may possess some divine qualities can be easily demonstrated. I just turn on my camera, and there we go. There is a church that thinks that, well, I don't know what they think, but clearly they see me as something special. So that is a demonstration.
I mean,
yeah, but that doesn't tell us what you mean by that.
Yeah, I want to know what you mean by demonstration, if not justification.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just some form of justification.
Okay, we can move on from the argument.
Okay, I'll make the claim that Randolph is wearing a blue shirt. My demonstration is right there
You're still
on
not
screen.
telling me the meaning of demonstrable.
So do you mean
justification?
Yeah. Do you mean it's that we're justified in believing
If you hadn't talked over me while I was explaining it, you would have known by now.
I don't want to die.
We heard
this is the problem.
I don't know why. Oh, Jesus. This fucking
I think Speed's watching. Not sure, but I think so.
Well, look.
Go on to answers in atheism.
Forget it. Go ahead, Peter.
No. Tanya, your turn. I know you've expressed the desire to hang out with the cool people, so
I'm also expressing the
cool
desire
people.
to say,
why the fuck am I here? But I must have missed the wrong turn.
Well, no, Leo, you're socialist. You're not a cool person. All right, moving.
No. Yeah, you know me, just socialist soy boy.
Hey, I didn't add the last part. You did. Okay.
Wait. Are you saying Leo's a communist?
That's what he says.
No, I'm not a communist. I'm a socialist.
I've been hanging out with theists too much. I think I picked it up.
It's good that you're hanging out here now for a while.
Well, look, this argument.
Yes.
This argument has been going on for over 3,000 years. Okay, move on. No one's gonna fucking, you know what I mean, prove or disprove God exists. All right,
but that's beside the point. I don't think this really comes down to proving whether God exists or not. I think it's whether or not one is justified in believing that.
Leo, you know what the sad part is? We were watching a video. The whole thing got derailed because some idiot on Otangelo's stream brought up Christian scientists and then lumped everyone into the Christian scientists. And then I had to stick my big mouth into that and show a meme And then we got into this entire rabbit hole. I wish we could go back to the video. Just saying.
Well, look, having a discussion, is fine, but at the same time, I feel like you guys are just like arguing past each other, and going down so many goddamn rabbit holes that the conversation gets lost.
I think that's called engaging in philosophy. I'm not sure, but
Leon and I did.
Peter, no, well, hold on. There's engaging in good philosophy. There's engaging in philosophy, which generates the desire of hatred, like you have.
What?
Peter should really humble himself and actually learn from people that know the subject.
Yeah, that's not you. Okay. Peter.
Oh, sorry.
I just muted the site, so I can't even hear it anymore.
Yeah, sorry. That was my
as I was trying to say, well, it's certainly not going to be you, Danny.
Wait, do you think I was wrong in distinguishing between arguments and evidence?
No,
Tanya?
no, you were right. You were right. I just don't like you at times. You were
Okay,
right.
so you're just emoting right now. You're just.
Hey, boys and girls.
That's fucking stupid.
Hi, boys and girls. Anyway, I want to shoot this in the head. I want to do a video on serious science tonight. John Maddox and information, part 2.
Oh,
so
that sounds like fun.
that means I have to get some rest. So
all right. Well, you can. Sorry, go ahead.
And you guys have beaten this fucking thing to death, I think. Haven't you?
I've only spoken the last 20 minutes, so.
I mean, I've only
Flying Spaghetti Monster Akbar.
I've only spoken the last 10, so.
You can always tell when Danny's
and you
in a mood.
contributed 0.
It's cute. Hold on, it's cute that you think that.
All you've done is taken shots.
If you keep saying Flying Spaghetti Monster Akbar.
No, wait, hold on. I need to say something. I literally need to say something.
Okay.
If I contribute nothing, why am I always allowed in this stream and I never get kicked out?
No, you just said.
That's just a matter of bias.
I gotta say, if you guys keep saying stuff like Flying Spaghetti Monster Akbar, before you know it, we won't even be allowed to say meatballs at the airport.
No, you said, Tanya, that you participated in the last 10
Everybody
minutes.
hear what the doofus Randolph Richardson just said?
I suspect. Oh, come on. I suspect Danny's going to figure out that he shouldn't be picking on fucking people, when I let him back in the room or when Scott lets him back in the room. So maybe
why is he out of the room in the beginning, in the first place?
Because he was just picking on people and he had nothing to say.
No, he wasn't.
No, he's being an asshole.
No, he's not.
Speed. I'm
Wait,
not.
so
I'm
when
not
Tanya
picking
said
on.
that
I'm not picking.
when he didn't like
Eddie,
me,
hold on. I was talking. I'm not.
He should have waited
people.
before he started speaking when you brought him back in.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
He should have waited.
I hate picking on people, and we could wait until Danny says something that is useful. But
Don't hold your breath, because I don't want to be held responsible when you turn blue.
I corrected you on the distinction between soundness and validity, and you had accepted that correction. So
God, he's a little prick today. He's just a little prick today.
How is he being a prick? He was right when he said that. He did. He explained what it was.
Come on now, guys. You can tell when Danny's.
Now I'm being
I didn't think he was being a prick there at all.
I mean,
I don't think he was at all being a prick there.
Is it electrons or protons that are blue? I don't remember.
I think they're blue. Well, no, sometimes they're red.
It doesn't really matter.
wait, Speed, what did I say that triggered you? Are you going to kick me out now? Come on, hit the kick.
Oh, he asked nicely.
Okay, guys.
Hold on. And to Leo's point, just because it's biased doesn't mean it's not true. Okay?
Danny literally asked for that.
He did. He told me to do it, so I did it.
He asked. He didn't tell you. He asked. He asked nicely too.
Okay, we gotta shoot this in the head, guys. We gotta kill it. The weather report's only supposed to be 2 hours, so
Well, that's dark.
yeah. I mean, we can, anytime when somebody wants to schedule a particular topic like this and come on later on, we could have at it, but it'll be fine. I'm gonna let this fucker back in the stream and see if he's sobered up yet.
What do you mean by
How are you,
sobered up?
Danny?
Thanks for hosting.
What do you mean by why are you slandering me? You've been doing that the last.
Okay. So
this young skull full of mush thinks he's so smart. He thinks he was. I mean, he was a train wreck.
yeah, that's perfect, Peter. Okay, we're ending the broadcast. Okay, is that okay, guys?
Yeah.
Are we out?
You want to
Okay.
try to stretch it to 2:22? You're almost there.
One thing, Speed. I think we need to let Tanya say something because Tanya always joins and never gets the chance to speak.
Go ahead.
So I'm
Go ahead.
now sticking up for Tanya.
Midnight, say something.
Well,
Perform.
I guess the last thing I would say is that while having these arguments is fun and can be challenging at times, like that, let us remember that we will never, at least that's what I think, we will never figure it out whether a God exists or not, unless he shows up in front of us and says, "Hey, yo, what's up? I'm God. Eat some pizza or something." I don't know.
Pizza.
I did put out one idea for this, and nobody's actually, as far as I know, prayed for it to happen. I said, have your God grant me omniscience and omnipotence for a period of 2 weeks so I can explore the cosmos and verify all this for myself. And so far, nobody's made that happen.
I mean,
'Cause that would prove it for me.
Tanya's just wrong. You can deductively.
Good for you, Danny.
Wow, it's nice that we won't even let somebody come in and express
Yeah,
disagreement.
you can deductively prove that God does not exist. Tanya's just wrong.
I mean, okay, history disagrees with you because there's been many
What does
people
that
who
even
tried.
mean?
Wait, the fact that people
Okay,
haven't
Daddy's
done
in
it.
a mood tonight.
What are you talking about? He's in a mood.
Come on, guys. He's in a mood.
No, he's not. He was saying, "Hey, I disagree with you on this, and this is why," and you're not letting him explain why.
You know what, Leo?
That's what atheists do.
I think constantly kicking someone
Well,
out of
that's
his
what I'm trying to say.
There's
I
about
don't
everything.
think,
To be
I
fair,
don't think
I do
atheists should be dicks to people who they don't like or don't agree with.
You didn't even hear it.
Can I voice
You
my
didn't even hear it.
opinion?
To be
You
fair,
overtalked the
to be fair,
soundboard.
Peter. To be fair, I think constantly kicking somebody out of a stream would put them in a mood.
I
No,
agree.
he was in a
Can
mood
I-
before. Well,
can
I
maybe.
don't think so. He sat here for 30 minutes.
Actually,
and didn't say a word.
that's not so bad.
David wants to say something.
I think, Speed, you're being a little unfair. I do have to say.
Okay, yeah, I am.
You're being
I'm
a little
being-
hot. You're being
I'm being
hot.
We
You're being
I'm being a
hot.
real bitch.
We joke with
were
Danny,
being hot.
kick him out once or
Shut
twice. We
up,
all
you
laugh. It's
double
funny.
glazing
That's cool.
salesman.
Okay, can we?
Bring him
Yeah.
back. Bring
I'm
him
trying
back.
to. I'm trying to end the fucking stream.
Yes.
Do
End the
you
stream.
guys?
Right.
Do you not fucking get that? Okay, Danny, Leo, do you not get that? I don't want to dig up any other topics. I don't want to hear anybody criticizing Leo or anybody out or Midnight or anybody else. I just want to end the fucking stream, guys.
Just say
Then why
something.
didn't you just
Ending
ask?
the
I would have
stream.
just stopped.
Well,
Did
just
you hear that?
stop, Danny?
I
Stop.
gotta write that down.
Anybody else have anything like anybody other than Danny and Leo and now Midnight have anything to say?
Stay curious.
Okay.
Yep. Keep questioning everything.
Go on to
Doubt
the
is-
answers in
doubt-
atheism.
Doubt is one of our greatest allies.
Okay. Goodbye, cruel world. We're ending.